we doing? What's up? Beepo next. No Pokemon cards today, I'm afraid. Pokemon cards to come in the near future, though. Friday I'll have them. So probably next Monday. Next Monday. We do have an exciting stream today, though. We got a lot to do. And we'll just see if I have the energy to do it. You know what? That's the game. That's the game for today. Is does Nate have the energy to do what needs to be done? And the answer is, even he doesn't know. I'm exhausted, but I'm here. I'm happy to be here. Happy to be with everybody. For those of you that missed the memo, I did have the vid. I did indeed have it. And it was awful. It was real bad. All right, let's do your redemptions. Movie and Gachapon.
Like school, I guess we better see what's inside of this gachapon. I'm a little scared.
I really don't get sick very often. That's not true at all. I get sick all the time. But I don't get sick like this, ever. I don't think I've ever experienced anything like it. It is novel, for a reason. Missed it. It's so close and I still miss it. How can that even be? Can it focus on me? Focus on me! I want the attention! Game Awards wrong! We're gonna find out. A celeb reads poetry for you, Zando. Celeb reads poetry. That's an attention grabber. It's almost like that's all it is. I guarantee you, between all of the Game Awards nominees, I'll have to disagree with one. So even if they're only wrong once, they're still technically wrong. Okay. Here is your movie game, Zando, while you come up with a celebrity. Kronk, I see. Got you. Okay, here is your movie game. Sauntering in with Selma Hayek and his guitar case stuffed with guns, the mariachi plans to rob a blind man with a dark secret hiding inside his decrepit home. Sauntering in with Selma Hayek and his guitar case stuffed with guns, the mariachi plans to rob a blind man with a dark secret hiding inside his decrepit home. I think the only real combo is Elden Ring versus God of War. We'll find out, won't we? You guys all know my favorite nominations. I don't really care about Game of the Year. That's vanilla stuff, man. That's vanilla. That's what they talk about on Vanilla Radio. We all want to know about that Ludo narrative. All right, Kronk. I don't think that hype music is going to work, huh? Let's play some piano. This is Our History from the collection of poems New Names for Lost Things by Nor Unahar as performed by Kronk. Before we read this, I would like everyone to put some chats in the clap, please, for Zando. Desperado don't breathe is the one. Chats in the clap, my friend. Congratulations. Okay. The poison for Cusco. That's it, Kronk. Okay. So much of us is past and dust, borders and sound. Suddenly, you are everywhere. Even when I'm repelling the moon. Even when I'm flossing my teeth. Even when I'm angry at the shattered lights of my car. Where's it going? It's lost. You're here. I wrote your name backwards, and it still looks beautiful. What has become of me? Thank you. Chats in the clap as well for Kronk. Look at that. We got two celebrities in the chat now. We got Zando, the one and only, and then we also got Kronk. Go away. Okay. Back at it. I'm going to pump up the hype music a little bit. I need help. I need all the help I can get today. Speaking of chats in the clap, I have some new stickers. What you think? Pretty nice. Dude, what did I get duded for? That'll work for nap time. May be back after. Well, hopefully we'll welcome you back soon, Zando. I've got my tea here. I need to get the tea, whatever they're called, the netting out of there. What's up, Splash? How we doing? I still want to know what I was duded for. I'm so concerned. Oh, you're totally a celeb. We got 3 celebs. Yes, yes, yes. What was I thinking? However many people we got in the chat, we got that many celebs. You're all celebs in my heart. Okay, let's get started with the Game Awards, okay? Let's start with the Game Awards. Then we'll watch Crossfire News. Then I got a cool Pokemon thing to show you guys. And I'll catch you guys up on the weekend. All the things that happened. I got to play some games and watch some shows and do some exciting stuff. And I would love to hear what you guys got to do. So tell me if you've played some games recently, what you've been playing, what's been going on. And we're going to go through this Game Awards nominee list, yeah? So I did have one spoiled for me by Kung Fu Carl. Kung Fu Carl did drop it over in the Discord just for Game of the Year. But as I mentioned, there are many more. Many more. Many more. So we're gonna keep it coming. I have not looked at these. I've only looked at the Game of the Year one, and so we're gonna go through them one by one and find out what's inside. Persona 5 for Goaty, I would do it. Okay. Let's see. This is for 2022. Man, does it have it in the scrolling version? I don't want to look at it in this version. Man, it do not, huh? All right, we'll just go backwards from each category. We don't really, I have not seen them yet. I'm looking at them live here so we can look at them together. If you've already seen them, no spoilers. If you've not seen them, then welcome. I don't really care much about the esports stuff, but we're gonna look through them anyway just to see. This looks like pretty much the same stuff. Evo. Now I know that H-Man always watch Worlds. And this year's was apparently insane, so verifiably the coolest thing ever. Normally, I always vote on whoever I think has the best username. None of them this year. I feel like I've seen Blade before. I feel like I've seen that. I feel like he's been in here before. All right, for teams, we got FaZe Clan, Genji, LA Thieves, Loud, and Dark Zero Esports. I like Dark Zero's logo. All right. Best esports athlete, Chovy. Chovy! Chovy, you were nominated? They forgot the E in your name. Wherever you are, Chovy, they nominated you. They robbed Def and DRX. Is it not called Genji? Did I mispronounce it? That feels very intuitive. If it's not pronounced Genji, they've got to change their name. Simple, yay. I like yay. I think I'm going to vote for yay. Yay! I like that. All right, best esports game. Absolutely not a lick of difference from like any other year. Thrilled to see that Valorant's still even on the map. Yep. Everything's right where it normally is. Most anticipated game. Zelda's gonna take it easy. Don't you think? Come on. It's either Zelda or Starfield, and I think people are tired of talking about Starfield, and they're not quite as tired of talking about Zelda. Come on. Zelda's gonna take it. Zelda's gonna take it for sure. Hogwarts Legacy, I think, is gonna be blech. I think it's gonna be gross. Okay, best adaptation. Ooh! Oh man, what a year it's been. Oh, are you serious? These are, well, with the exception of Uncharted, which I actually haven't seen, all 4 of these were really good. They were all done really, really well. And that's the one you say, Splash. That's the only one I've not seen. Arcane was phenomenal. No doubt in my mind that Arcane was phenomenal. Cyberpunk was one of the best things I've ever seen. So, you know, take that for what it's worth. Cuphead was a really, really enjoyable little jaunt. It really, you felt the polish, you felt the love, you felt the inspiration. Really good. Sonic the Hedgehog 2, I love Sonic, so it's always going to be unfair. I'm always going to give Sonic bias. There's no way this one wins. I think Arcane or Cyberpunk are probably going to take it home.
I think Cyberpunk would be my vote, but Arcane probably should. That's where I fall. Okay, the best debut indie. Unbelievable. Norco's on here? Wow! Good job, Norco! Oh, that's very exciting. If Neon White doesn't take this, it's crazy. It's definitely going to be Stray. But man, Neon White deserves it so much more. Neon White absolutely deserves it more. Norco was really good. For those of you who never played Norco, that one kind of slept, what's the word? Kind of whiffed by everybody. I feel like people missed that one was even a thing. But Norco was a really, really dark and depressing story. Basically just given the name, right? But very worth your time if you are into visual novels, if you're into kind of dark storytelling, that's got it. Neon White absolutely had so much precision and skill-based gaming, in addition to a bafflingly silly story. Stray was good, though. Stray was good. Stray was not a bad game. But it just, yeah, I agree with you, HMN. It was just kind of more of the same, kind of the same story we've heard, the same style we've heard. The aesthetic was nice. The story was okay. But it was, at the end of the day, just okay. Shorter than everybody thought, but you got to be a cat. We will learn how many cat lovers versus dog lovers we have in the gaming community based off of the votes on this one. Okay. Content creator of the year. Oh my goodness. I've literally never watched any of these, huh? Who is Carl Jacobs? Who is Carl Jacobs? Who is Nobru? Who is Nibellion? Nibelli, tell me about Nibelli, Splash, because I have no idea who this is. It'll probably be Ludwig, but that's hilarious that he's even on here along with QT, his GF. That's very surprising to me. All right, here's my prediction. Lud is probably going to be there, and he's probably going to win. But I don't even know who Nibellion is. I love that his profile picture is just Mob. That's very funny. I could almost guarantee it's going to be Ludwig, but that is very interesting. Who is Nobru? Who are these people, though? Quite an interesting category. Positive impact on the community. None of them, really. Checkpoint Church is the positive impact. Best multiplayer of the year. Oof. Splatoon? Maybe? I'm amazed to even see that one on here. I can't believe TMNT is even on this list. I love that it is, but I can't believe it. It's definitely Splatoon. Definitely Splatoon. I don't think Overwatch popped off enough. Multiversus was a fun meme. And I really haven't heard much about COD. Do you think COD's going to take it, H-Man? It just came out, though. It feels like it hasn't enough time. Best sports / racing. Ollie Ollie World's on there. Wow, look at you. Look at you, H-Man. Ollie Ollie's on here. Love it. I don't know who's going to win this one this year. These are all kind of washes for me. Except for Ollie. Ollie Ollie should win it, but it doesn't feel like it has the inertia. Like, no, it never was talked about, you know? I hope so. I'd love to see that one win it. Okay. Best sim / strategy game. Dune Spice Wars, not a chance. Mario plus Rabbids Sparks of Hope. Maybe. Probably. Yeah, it's Sparks of Hope. Yeah. Yeah, it's Sparks of Hope. I don't even know why the other ones are on here. It's Sparks of Hope for sure. Best family game. Total War. You think? I've not heard a soul talk about this game. Maybe I'm just in the wrong circles. I've at least heard people talk about this one, and this one. Consumed all my friends. So interesting. All right, best family. Appropriate for any family? Man, this really was a weird year, wasn't it? I mean, Kirby was great. None of these really deserved to win. None of them were that good. Very interesting. Very, very interesting. Kirby probably will take it. Best fighting game. JoJo. I hope Sifu wins. Yeah, this is Zando's category. I would need to know what Zando thinks. Multiverses, I think, like I said, it was there for the memes. JoJo's definitely there for the memes. Sifu is definitely the best. It also has a good story. Like, none of these have that good of a story, and then there's this one that has like an actual story. Okay. Best role-playing game. Wow, dude. I can't believe Arceus even got a nom. Let's go. Arceus got a nom. I can't believe it. I would have told you not in a million years would it have gotten a nom. Fighting game is best game designed primarily around head-to-head combat. Yeah, that is an interesting definition for Sifu. I would consider Sifu more of like an RPG. I can't believe this. I cannot believe that Pokemon is even on here. Not a chance it would win. Not a chance it's winning. This is almost certainly going to Elden Ring. Maybe it'll go to Xenoblade. But these other ones are really just here so that people can pay attention to them. I cannot believe Pokemon made it on the list. That's amazing. I'll vote for it every day. Best action and adventure. We have A Plague Tale, Requiem, God of War Ragnarok, Horizon Forbidden West, Stray, and Tunic. That's tough. That's really tough. I think that it'll probably go to God of War. I would love to see it go to Horizon Forbidden West because I have a feeling God of War is going to win in a lot of other categories. But I don't see how it's not going to go to God of War. Best action game. Oh, it's definitely Bayonetta. No. Well, actually, actually, it might. When looking at the list, yeah, it kind of could. This is really the best they came up with for action game. These were the best action games of the year. Are we sure? I feel like we should take another look. This can't be. This can't be the best action games of the year. Were there not more games that came out this year? I guess, maybe. I doubt it. I'd be surprised if Sifu took it, but maybe. Neon White probably deserves it. It was the best polish. I don't know. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles was also really well polished. Very interesting category. Primarily on combat. I don't know, dude. Maybe Sifu? That's a weird one. We've got a lot of really amorphous ones that could go either way. Best VR/AR. God of War, and that hurts because I loved Horizon. I'm so hooked into God of War 2. It might be in my top 5 ever right now. I love to hear it, Stain. I love to hear it. I have not played any of these games. I have heard good things about Among Us VR. Moss is like one of the most legendary VR games out there. So maybe. I have no opinion on these. Among Us would be a great meme, but I doubt it. Innovation. I really haven't kept up with accessibility this year. Probably Last of Us. Last of Us normally takes it. Interesting. Yeah, I haven't kept up with accessibility options this year, so I haven't heard anything really novel. Last year, Last of Us 2 was phenomenal in their accessibility, and so they deserved to win. I don't remember they did, but they deserved to. We'll see. We'll see where this one goes. Best community support. I always vote for No Man's Sky for this one because I think they deserve it more than anybody. But I tell you what, you know who in my circles deserves it is Destiny 2. Because I thought people were done with that game, and people are not done with that game. It is more alive than it has ever been. It baffles me that this game. So I think with the Witch Queen coming out this year, I think they might take it. Maybe Destiny 2 will take it. FF14, I love it. I love to hear it, but I doubt it. We'll see. Best mobile game, I would have told you I probably would have said Tower Fantasy because it did pretty good. But I'm not gonna lie, you guys. I've played so many rounds of Marvel Snap, and I feel like Diablo Immortal people did not like, and I've never heard of Apex Legends Mobile. Yeah, I hope Marvel Snap takes it. How crazy would it be for Marvel to take home a mobile game? Ew, mobile games, gross. Mobile gamers. Okay, now it's to the indie category. Best indie, let's see. Cult of the Lamb, Neon White, Sifu, Stray, or Tunic. Yeah, I've never heard of Apex Mobile in my entire life. I vote for Neon White here. Cult of the Lamb was really good. Neon White was probably better. That's tough. In this list, they're almost in the correct order if you just swap these two. Fascinating. All right, best ongoing game. Apex, Destiny 2, FF14, Fortnite, and Genshin. Destiny 2 again. Destiny 2 again for me. All right, now it's time for my category, and I've never played 1, 2, 3 of these. So you know what that means. You know what that means. You know what 3 games we're playing soon. I will be playing these games because I love this category. This is Nathan's category. It might as well say Games for Nerd Pastor Nate. That being said, of the 3 that I've played, Citizen Sleeper should take this one so hard. It should just absolutely blow these out of the water. Citizen Sleeper was such a better experience than any of these others. Yes, Citizen Sleeper is so good. It's a lot of reading. If you're into, it feels like a tabletop game. It feels like a solo tabletop experience. Man, I loved it. I wanted to play Endling. Well, I will play it for sure. We'll be playing those 3. Rest assured, we'll play these 3 games. Whether it's on stream or whether it's off stream, that's up to determine. But we'll definitely be playing those 3. Best performance: Ashley Birch, Horizon Forbidden West; Charlotte McBurney of A Plague Tale Requiem; Christopher Judge, God of War Ragnarok; Man Engage in Immortality; and Sunny Suljic in God of War Ragnarok. So I actually just played Immortality, and she did a really great job. Gotta say, Man Engage did an exceptional job. Played her role very, very well. Was very intimidating, very scary. Yeah, excellent performance. I have not heard A Plague Tale Requiem. Immortality was really good. I gave it a 4 out of 5. Yeah, be prepared. Be prepared for some adult content. That was something I was not emotionally prepared for. I saw it in the mature rating and I was kind of like, yeah, maybe I should pay attention. But it was more than I expected. It very much felt like an art film. That's all I'll say. It felt like 3 art films. So, be prepared for a little bit of snuff. But it was good. It was very good storytelling. Absolutely scared the bajonkers out of me at one point. Totally got me. So as you go throughout the game, I don't want to spoil anything, but as you go throughout the game, if you've never played a Sam Barlow game, he likes to play with your expectations of watching back clips and FMV videos. And whenever you find your first clue, absolutely was not looking for it and just found it on accident. And I mean, I had chills to go down my spine. I was so uncomfortable. So, yeah, 4 out of 5 stars. I enjoyed it. No, 3 out of 5. Did I give it 3.5 out of 5? I might have given it a 7 out of 10. Either 7 out of 10 or an 8 out of 10. I can't remember. Did Christopher Judge win this last time? He does a great job. I would love to see Sunny get it because it would be nice to see even younger representation winning awards at the Game Awards. I always like Ashley Birch. She's great. Boy. Best audio design. I don't know. I've only played one of these games, so I really can't weigh in too much on this one. But the design in Elden Ring was great. This could go to any of them. Best score and music. Ooh. Oh, now we're in an interesting spot. I did not really enjoy the music of Elden Ring. God of War, I'm sure, is very atmospheric. Xenoblade is phenomenal. I never played Metal Hellsinger. Maybe I should go back and try it. It doesn't look like my kind of game, but I should at least listen to the music. Interesting. Very interesting. Best art direction. Now, this one I could see being fair to Stray. This is the one where I think Stray kind of deserves it because they definitely have a lot of inspiration. Horizon is also gorgeous. All these games are gorgeous. The issue with games, for me, the issue with games is that they're all going to get so gorgeous that it's going to be so difficult to even differentiate between art direction. Like, you're actually going to have to start considering direction instead of just pure aesthetic. Because, honestly, hot take Scorn, super inspired, right? I don't think that's that hot take. I think it's gross, but it's inspired, right? You can't deny the inspiration. Interesting. Very interesting. All right, best narrative. Wow, look at that. Hey, give it up for Immortality. Oh my goodness. There's no way it's going to win, but that's wonderful. Good for you guys. Man, good for Sam Barlow. I can't believe it. Have any of his games been nominated for anything? That's fantastic. Dude, the guy has been writing these FMV games. I think this is his third one in this studio. And, good for you, dude. Good for you. That being said, I would not vote for that. Because the absolute worst part of that game was the narrative and how it all came together in the end. Yeah, it was excellent storytelling, but the story being told was okay. Let's see. So here we've got a little bit of differentiation. God of War or Plague Tale. Yeah. I don't see Elden Ring taking this one as much as, it is a hallmark. I don't think the story is what people were there for. Honestly, if it was Elden Ring and then another was like, let me solo her, I would vote for that for best narrative. All right, we're only got 2 left. Best game direction. Again, I could see it going either way here or here. Wow! Holy moly, this year, what is happening? You know what this is? This is that we felt really, really bad for Xbox. We felt really guilty for Xbox because PlayStation was getting all the noms. And so we looked at all the games that Xbox has actually released exclusively this year, and this was the best one. I really enjoyed Immortality, you guys, but this is not a best game direction game. None of these are, it doesn't really need best in any of these. Very interesting. Very interesting. Yeah, it'll either be Elden Ring or God of War. I don't think it'll be Horizon. Maybe. Won't be Stray. Fascinating. All right. Number 1, Game of the Year. This is the one we've already seen. Can't believe. I think this is like Nintendo. Nintendo gave the Game Awards like a sizable donation of like, one of our games is going to be nominated for Game of the Year. And that's the only reason it's there, because there's literally no way. It's a great game. Xenoblade's great. But I don't know, dude. Goaty? Yeah, we might be seeing a God of War sweep. We'll see. We'll see. It's definitely God of War, Elden Ring, and A Plague Tale. Those are the 3 biggies. Horizon Forbidden West has certainly shown up here and there. I'm surprised to see Stray as often as we have. It really was just okay. Interesting. I'm very excited to see how this goes. Folks, we're going to do the same thing we did last year. So, I'm excited to announce we're going to once again be doing a Game Awards challenge bracket. I've already got Buish working on the bracket, so hopefully we'll get that up before too long. But we'll plan on watching the Game Awards together. And as we do, we will be collecting the tallies. So I'll have a date that all the tallies have to be in. And we'll stop taking entries as soon as that date is reached. It'll probably be the day before. And then we'll watch the Game Awards together and find out who has the highest score. You get 1 point for everything that you guess correctly. And then what we're going to do is whoever wins, whoever gets the most correct, gets a $25 gift card to wherever. It could be Amazon, it could be Nintendo eShop, it could be Xbox, it could be PlayStation. It'll be one of the major providers. And then you will get the title of the Ultimate Gamer of 2022. So that's going to be the plan. We'll do that again this year. I had a ton of fun with this last year, and I hope that we get even more people who will contribute and participate this year because it was a lot of fun. H-Man says, I think Elden Ring, based on how different it was from their normal games. God of War is great and gorgeous, but it's just more of the same. Man, all the games are more of the same, dude. H-Man, by the way, is our reigning champ, indeed. H-Man brought it home last year with our Game of the Year. With our Ultimate Gamer 2021. So we need a second reigning champ to see what happens. Or H-Man could just bring it home once again. But that is the official announcement, so we'll definitely be doing that again. I'll post more information as soon as we have the thing. Everybody is totally willing and able to participate in that. I'll keep hyping it up over the next several weeks. But I always love this, and I always enjoy putting these things together, so this will be something that'll be super fun. And it's a chance to win a little gift card towards a game. Pay for half a game. Pay for a little bit of a game. Unless you're into indie games like myself, and then you could just have a game for free. You know? All right, I'm going to head out. We'll see you, Splash. We're going to watch some Crossfire news next. You have until December 8th. Yep. What's up, Weesh? Oh, man. Long time no see. Seeing Weesh on the chat. We're about to watch some Crossfire news, you guys. Crossfire news, and then we're going to jump into a online Pokemon gallery. For those of you who haven't seen this yet, I'm going to take you on a little journey through it. And yeah, we're going to get right into it. What's crazy, Bleach, is that I literally just mentioned that I messaged you about putting together the bracket again this year. So that's very funny timing that you just so happen to pop in the minute I mention it. I think you've got it bugged in here. Every single time I say Bleach, a little red light shows up in Bleach's room. So it's just the way it is. So we're gonna get that together, and I'm excited. I'm super excited this year. Very surprised by a lot of the nominees. I did not expect to see Stray pop up as much as it did, and I definitely was not expecting Arceus to be nominated for anything, and that makes me real happy. That makes me real tickled because I liked that game a lot. So for those of you that are joining us, we have started doing a thing on Mondays now where we watch through Crossfire, Faith Plus Gaming's news. They're doing Crossfire news now every Monday, and so we're going to watch that together and respond to the news accordingly, see what we think about it as we go through it. I will drop the link in the chat if you wouldn't mind going and subscribing to them, giving them a like, drop a comment, whatever you're comfortable with. Any of those three, I'm sure they would appreciate. Just so we can support them, let them know that we appreciate what they're doing, what they're putting together. We want to support other ministries that are doing this kind of work and creating family-friendly, encouraging content such as they are. So we're going to do that for sure. But first, we got to watch it. So let's watch the thing, huh? Let's see how this goes. It's probably going to come up weird because I definitely left the thing on. It did. It do, though. All right, YouTube window. Bada bing, bada boom. All right. Let's crank the volume up and turn off Spoofy. Bye, Spoofy. And we're going to watch some Crossfire News for, again, this is November 14th, Crossfire News with Russ.
Today's news, Nintendo hosts Indie World. Control 2 is officially announced. And Disco Elysium devs caught up in a minor controversy. All coming at you next. Crossfire. What's up, everybody? I'm Russ Dornish for Crossfire News, and let's just jump right in. Nintendo hosted a November Indie World on November 9th. In it, they showed off a number of new titles coming soon. Games included Venba.
Did anybody watch the Indie World? Drop in the chat if you did. I did check it out, so I'd love to hear if anybody watched it.
Goodbye World, Have a Nice Death, Aka, Pepper Grinder, Oni, Road to be the Mightiest Oni, Desta, Memories Between, A Space for the Unbound, Rogue Legacy 2, and Sports Story. Rogue Legacy was dropped as a release on November 9th, while Sports Story, Aka, and Goodbye World will launch next month. The rest are slated for the 2020 year release. Which game are you most excited for, and which games were you disappointed in not seeing at the event? Comment down below. Remedy Entertainment officially announced.
Just say what you're saying. Just say what you're saying, Russ. Everybody was upset that Silk Song wasn't announced. I'm not surprised. You guys, I feel like we need to go ahead and say it. We need to realize that Hollow Knight Silk Song is going to be announced at a direct, not at an Indie World. I know it is technically an indie game. There is no chance of them announcing it in an Indie World. In all honesty, there is very little chance of any game that is going to be that hyped being announced at an Indie World. Indie World is they took the direct out of the name for a reason, right? They want you to know this is where they're highlighting their indies. And you may have heard of them, but more than likely you will not have heard of them because they are indies. I am very excited about Space for the Unbound. I'm very excited about a lot of those games. I think they're going to be super good. I was excited to see that it was a ton of variety in those games. I know that the last time we got in a little bit of trouble because there were so many farming games. But this time there were nowhere near as many farming games, and there were way more interesting and compelling types. So I thought that was a hype Nintendo Indie World. I was very excited about it. And if you were expecting Silk Song, I don't know what you were thinking. What's up, Zando? It is a
announced a Control 2 sequel that is in very early stages of development. Co-developing the project and publishing the new game will be 505 Games. With Control, we leaped into the unknown. We wanted to create something.
You missed absolutely nothing, Zando, except for the fact that everybody expected it at the Indie World.
Something new, something different and unexpected, a world like no other. Thank you, the audience, for making Control such a success for us. Control game director Mikhail
Control was
Kasparinen
wild, you guys.
said
If
in a
you didn't play
blog
it.
post. With Control 2, we'll take another leap into the unknown. It'll be
Definitely
an
not my kind of
unexpected
game, but
journey.
hoo boy,
It'll take
a
a while,
bonkers
but
game
to put
to
it
play.
mildly, this is the most exciting project I've ever worked on. It's still early days, but it will be worth the wait. Remedy is not lead on the game due to their busy schedule that includes a multiplayer spin-off of Control and Alan Wake 2. They are also partnering with Rockstar to remake Max Payne 1 and 2. What are your thoughts on the Control sequel? Were you a fan of the original, and are you excited for the new game to come out? Let us know. Lastly, some mild controversy regarding the developers behind the indie hit Disco Elysium. Game director
Perry?
Robert Kurvitz and art director Alexander Rostov were fired from their positions at the company. Both employees are claiming they were forced out by scamming investors, while the board for ZAUM are claiming the two were fired for undisclosed workplace misconduct. As soon as they became majority shareholders, we were quickly excluded from daily operations. Our employment was terminated and our access to the company's information was shut off, Kurvitz and Rostov wrote in a blog post. Our firing came weeks after we started asking for documents and financial data, which is still being kept from us. We believe the money used by them to buy the majority stake was taken illegally from ZOM Studio OU itself. Money that belonged to the studio and all shareholders, but was used for the benefit of one. Money that should have gone towards making the sequel, they write. We believe that these actions, which in our view and the view of our lawyers, amount to criminal wrongdoing punishable by up to 3 years imprisonment, were perpetrated by Ilmar Kompas and Tonis Havel with support from Kaur Kender, another minority shareholder. The company claims a number of misconducts, including but not limited to creating a toxic workplace environment, verbal abuse, and gender discrimination. It sounds like it may be quite a while before a sequel is released, if at all. What are your thoughts on this minor controversy and what it may mean for a Disco Elysium sequel? And now for the new release game.
So interesting to me, that whole controversy and all the stuff that's going on with it, because it feels like it is, I not to debase it at all or say that it's not important, but it's just baffling to me that this company, they came out of nowhere that was making board games, or that wanted to make this board game and then made this like huge hit of an indie game out of nowhere, and then you just like don't hear about them, and then the next thing you hear is controversy. It's a real bummer. I'm sad for Perry and for people that really like this game. I would hope that I will eventually get to play it. I did start it and enjoyed the experience that I started, but I haven't gotten a ton more experience with it. But definitely a bummer. I hate that all of this is happening with the company and all the stuff that's going on with it. Big bummer, big issues in... I don't know. It kind of feels like they went into business with their friends. That's the vibe I get anyway, is that it's kind of a friends business that got bigger than it needed to be. And then you can't really work with your friends. Can't really trust them. Sometimes things go wrong, especially when big money is involved. And that sucks. All right, back to new release games to be excited for.
That are coming at you this week. Shredder's Revenge finally coming to PS5.
Russ, I swear, Russ, I swear, if you do not mention Pokemon, I'm going to lose my mind. They always forget Pokemon. And a new Pokemon game is coming out this Friday. That is A-level hype. The fact that we're even starting with Shredder's Revenge might have me a little offended, all right? But if we skip it, Russ,
Shredder's
getting
Revenge
a
will
firmly
release on
worded
PlayStation
email.
5 on November 15th, 2022. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge features modernized gameplay rooted in timeless classic brawling mechanics. Brought to you by the beat-em-up experts at Dotemu, also known for Streets of Rage 4, and developer
Xander, this game was
Tribute
nominated for a
Games,
whole lot more than I would have
in partnership with
anticipated.
Nickelodeon. Bash your way through gorgeous pixel art environments and slay tons of hellacious enemies with your favorite turtle, each with his own skills and moves, making each run unique. Choose a fighter using radical combos to defeat your opponents and experience intense combats loaded with breathtaking action and outrageous ninja abilities. Stay sharp as you face off against Shredder and his faithful Foot Clan alone, or grab your
was a
best
really
buds
good game,
and play with
but
up to
I am
4
surprised.
players simultaneously. Goat Simulator 3 comes to most major platforms on November 17th, 2022.
Does it
Goat
really?
Simulator 3 is a brand new third-person
I didn't know it was
sandbox
already out,
adventure
or already
game
coming
in which
out.
you get to become the literal goat. Just like the first Goat Simulator, you'll need to headbutt, lick, and triple jump your way across the giant island of San Angorna. This time with all new areas, challenges, and events to discover. But what is life as a goat without friends to explore with? Goat Simulator 3 will let you gather a herd of friends to wreak havoc on the world together.
Not the Hoover
Finally,
Dam.
with another week
Thank
comes
you,
another
Russ.
massive release as Pokemon Violet and Scarlet release on the
Thank
Switch
you, Russ. I was
November
very
18th.
worried.
Pokemon Scarlet and Pokemon Violet take a new evolutionary step in the Pokemon main series. Trainers can explore an open world where various towns with no borders blend seamlessly into the wilderness. Pokemon can be seen everywhere in the wide open world, in the skies, in the sea, and on the streets.
I'm so
As one of the main characters, trainers will jump into the world of Pokemon Scarlet and Pokemon Violet to begin their adventure, where they will have different outfit depending on which game they are playing. Trainers will then choose either Sprigatito,
There's my
the grass cat
Pokemains.
Pokemon, Fuecoco, the fire croc Pokemon, or
I
Waxley,
have
the
had to
duckling
avoid
Pokemon,
so
to be their first
many
partner Pokemon
spoilers.
before setting off on their journey.
You guys, I am so
And that's
tired
it for
of the
this
spoilers.
week. I'm Russ Dornish for Crossfire News and Crossfire Faith in Gaming. You are loved. You matter. You belong. God
Yay,
bless.
thanks,
See
Russ.
you next week.
I'm dropping it in the chat. If you guys would, go give them a like. Sub if you haven't already. Drop them a quick comment. Say thanks for the video. Say appreciate you. All that good stuff. We do appreciate Crossfire and the great stuff that they put together and all the hard work they're putting into all the good content. So go give them some love. Let them know that we appreciate them. All right. Next, we have the online Pokemon Gallery. If you guys have not heard of this, it's something very cool. I'm super excited to take you on a little tour of the gallery. Not sure what starter I'll take, so it's really up to you guys as far as what starter we take here on stream. I will be taking Sprigatito because, of course, I will. But as far as the stream is concerned, it's either of the other two. So it doesn't matter which one we take on stream as long as we don't take Sprigatito because I want to experience more than one. But Fuecoco and Quaxley, I could not care less. They both seem fine. But I love my Sprigatito. I'm going to be a big fan. The real question is do we just... I'm definitely going to be streaming it on Friday, you guys. I'm definitely going to be streaming it on Friday. So the question is, do we just keep starting the game until we get a shiny starter? Or what do we do? All right. I have an innate need not to go with the popular opinion, so even though I probably won't love the water starter, I'll go that way. Yeah. Is Sprigatito the popular opinion? I feel like none of them are very popular. All right, let's go over here. Boink, boink, boink. Nope. Wrong window. Let's go to this one. This one. Fuecoco was a popular one. I really feel like none of them are very popular. I feel like nobody likes any of them. All right, this is the Pokemon Online Gallery. I just discovered this on a whim, scrolling through the internet, and it's like a museum of Pokemon, and I thought it looked super cool, super neat, so I figured we'd take a little journey. The only issue is that it is all in Japanese, so we probably won't be getting the real, weight out of this, but it'll be neat to at least walk through and to see what they thought was worth putting in a museum experience of going through the ages. So we're going to turn off music, and let's see, is there anything that I wouldn't intuitively know? Arrow keys, clicking on things, magnifying glass, toward, I guess. There we are. Right there I am. There I am. There's the boy. All right, we're going around the museum here. Obviously, we can't read any of this, but I do love how inspired it is. I think that's super fun. All right, so we have February 27th of 1996. Looks like this is whenever Green and Red came out in Japan. Very fun. Look at the old game cartridges. Okay, these are like the trees. These are the trees from the OG game, the little circle trees. So I wonder if the trees are going to evolve as the game evolves. That's very fun. All three PokeMondays. Let's see if we can tell anything that it says. Oh, I love it. Look at the original art. Oh, that's great. We can share it online. Do you guys want a Line account? Bulbasaur. Oh, the classics, dude. I love the classic pixel art. It looks so good. I wonder if they're all like that. Is Articuno going to be the classic art too? Yeah. Man, completely unrelated to anything, I walked into GameStop today expecting to see my $5 Pro gift card to buy an eShop card for Violet. Walked out with a 3.5 by 6 foot green screen that had been marked down to a stupid price. I may not ever use it, but I couldn't say no to it because I love production stuff. That would be a big temptation. A big temptation. Oh, I wonder what's got to say about the gym. Oh, look at the art. Oh, it's so wonderful, man. So charming. I love all this stuff. Look at all these characters. I wonder why they picked the ones that they did. Ooh, what's this? Ooh, ooh, ooh. I feel like I'm jumping ahead. Okay. You just stay with the tour. Stay with the tour, please, sir. Sir, if you would please stay with the tour. All right, this is November 21st of 1999. Oh, look at that purple. That purple Game Boy Color. That looks real nice. Can you find me? I'm hiding. So I guess now the art has updated a little bit. It was marked down from 130 to 35, and I just got a Twitch payout, so it felt appropriate to send those dollars on it. That's right. Ah, now we're in color. Yes. Yep, got the baby Pokemon. The gyms have taken a real update. Metal Coat is now a thing that we can do to evolve Pokemon. Got the watering pail. Oh, it's so nice. What's this? What is the stone? What is that stone supposed to be? Okay. There's the burnt down temple. So Ho-Ho's somewhere in here. Oh, there he is. Oh, look at the feathers. I love seeing everything 3D modeled. I feel like I've never seen the feathers 3D modeled before. A lot of this stuff I feel like I've not seen 3D modeled before. All right, 2002. Wow, so we're bypassing the American releases entirely. We're purely Japanese releases. Cool. Oh, this is such a classic. I had this Game Boy Advance. This was my Game Boy Advance. I love it. I love it, I love it. You know what one of my biggest regrets in life is getting rid of all of the game boxes. The classic game boxes of my Game Boy Advance games. I don't know what I was thinking, but I just threw them all away because why would I keep them? Because I was a child. And now I regret it pretty seriously. All right, we're in third gen. Third gen here. We've got the Reggies thrown in here. Rayquaza. Oh, look at the plants. I love it. Oh, I love it. Look at how big Wheeler it is. Oh, man, he's a big old boy. I didn't say that. I didn't say that. I didn't say it. I didn't say it. I didn't say it. I didn't say it. It was, I didn't say it. I didn't. It didn't happen. Oh, man. Yeah, I do. I really do. Really wish I would have saved them. Would have been such a good call. Because now I save everything. And that's why, you know what frustrates me is that I will see tweets all the time and it'll be like, hey, millennial, you can throw away your iPhone case, okay? You can throw away your old phone case. And I'm like, no, you don't understand. You don't understand the mistakes I've made. You don't understand the gaming memorabilia that I've gotten rid of. I could be a millionaire. I could not be a millionaire. But I could have more money than I do. Have all my boxes in my garage. Yes, why would we get rid of those things? They're precious. They're precious artifacts. We got Rotom. Look, there's the boy. Rotom's here. Everybody wanted Rotom back. All right, so now we're into Diamond Pearl. Classics. Wow, look at the windmill. Oh, it moves too. Oh, that's so nice. Oh, wow. Look at the trees. Everything's stepping up. Everything's looking good. I don't know what this necklace is. Is that a Magatama? Is this Ace Attorney? It definitely looks like a Magatama, doesn't it? Was that like the ward that the grandmother gives us? Interesting. All right, into black and white. So this is where we're just now getting because I never played these games. So there might be spoilers here for all I know. I would guess the Ferris wheel would have been a spoiler if I didn't already know. Oh, this is where they come into things. Okay. Yeah, I remember these little guys. I'm sorry, what is this? Am I to know what this is? I guess I'm going to experience that soon in the game. Very interesting. All right, black and white 2. No! Just black and white. Did black and white 2 come out? No way. Right? Did it come out after? X and Y? No way. Right? It definitely did come out after X and Y. There's no way. Alright, this is another one that I've never played, so I really don't know anything here. Mega Evolution, I suppose. Yep, lots of Mega Evolved Mon. Zygarde, I guess, started in here. Sun and Moon. Yeah, they definitely just get black and white too. This is where I got back into it. Finally started playing the game again. It was such a good game. Sun and Moon was so good. Look at my boy. Look at my boy. This game had 2 starters that I loved. That's pretty weird. And then they had this guy. This disgusting guy. He's so gross. He's so gross. Look at him. Why would anybody think this was a good idea? And then this. Oh man, that was such a cool Marowak. Yes, yes, yes. Love it. Love it. And I loved these. I thought these were super cool. Super cool legendaries. All right, then of course Sword and Shield. This one only had one starter that I liked. Scorbunny. Yeah. Wow, man. It feels so weird to think that this was like years ago, you know? Like 2019 does not add up in my head, which I guess we got it a little later than that, didn't we? No, I feel like did we get it around then? Did we get it at the same time? It's crazy. And there we are. It was 19. Wow. And then a new game. A new game in 4 days. I'm in the future. I'm in the future right now, you guys. Wow. So cool. Love these games. Love Pokemondays. Now I thought I was gonna get stuff spoiled for me, but it's just a wall blocking and these signs. Let me know how the tutorial is. I will, Bleach. I'll let you know every single minute. As a matter of fact, we'll be streaming it, so you will get to watch every single minute of the tutorial section. And it will be wonderful. And we will love it. I will adore it. Feels okay, man. They're leaf blowing right outside, and COVID brain is absolutely not allowing me to form words right now, but I'm hyped. It's going to be so much fun. I'm going to love every minute of it. Oh, I'll definitely be sharing my dismay at the tutorial in the Discord. I know the COVID brain is zombie brain. It's really strange. It's really strange. I've been lamenting it a little bit on my Twitter because I am such a producer. I'm such a creative person, and not being able to think is about to drive me crazy. Yeah. It's like a wall. It's exactly like a wall, and I'm so tired all the time. But I'm here. I'm surviving. I will be a week out tomorrow. Straight up, I left here, slept that night, came here Tuesday morning and was like, I feel a little funny. And then by like 11 o'clock on Tuesday, I was like, I could maybe stream this afternoon. And then like 11:15, I drove home to eat lunch and I just fell into my couch. And that was what I did. The rest of the family avoid the Rona? We sure hope so. That's the big question in the air. I'm not so sure I didn't get it from them, you know? I don't go out in the wild. I'm not among the people. So there's no telling. But so far, I mean, they're outside my door. I don't know if you guys can hear that. It is as if they are leaf blowing my ears. I think they're drying out my ears. It's like a Q-tip. But it's a leaf blower. I think they're gone. NVIDIA says it's time for a 4090. My COVID vacay was cut short by everyone else in my family getting it. Oh, yeah, we'll see. We'll certainly see. I don't consider it a vacay at all because my brain didn't work. I did get to play some games though. So for anybody that was, I mean, they're coming back. Here they go. Welcome. Good morning. Good to see you. Happy you're here. I had just gotten my Steam Deck and Shredder's Revenge, and I was so looking forward to Isolation. Yeah, but was your brain there, or did you not get the fog brain? I was able to play games, but it was definitely games that had to be spoon-fed to me. So that's why Immortality was a really, really good game to play. It just kind of happened. It was a game that I didn't really have control over. I think that might have given me the spook factor, though. If you haven't played Immortality, I'm not going to spoil anything for you. But it's an FMV game from Sam Barlow. And so, you know, he likes to make that, like, FMV is already unsettling enough. And so if you play with the footage to make it more unsettling, it becomes like too scary. And this one in particular, you find the clues by, I guess I'll tell you guys. It doesn't really give anything away. But one of the ways you find clues, okay, mute me and count to 10 if you don't want Immortality. These really aren't spoilers. But mute me and count to 10 right now. You get them by going backwards. That's it. And the first time I was literally just rewinding for just to see a scene again. And then something happened. A secret scene happened, and I was like, what is happening? And I like thought my computer had been taken over. So that was weird. Spoilers are over. You're good. You're good if you're muted. I'm giving you thumbs up because you're good. But yeah. Interesting game. So I played that one this weekend. I played both of the milk inside a bag of milk. Milk inside a bag of milk inside a bag of milk. And I played milk outside a bag of milk outside a bag of milk. But I have played both of them before. So I wasn't really playing them for the first time. But I was so excited about the fact that I could play it on my Switch that I had to go play them. And they're super short. And so you can go play them. They feel more like Flash games than anything else. So you can go back and play them if you want to. If you've never played them before, be prepared for a sad time. It's a weird game. It's real depressing. But the gist of the game is that it is giving you the experience of social anxiety. So if you suffer from social anxiety, you're going to feel very seen by the games. If you do not suffer from social anxiety, you're going to understand why those of us with social anxiety are as weird as we are. Because this is what goes through our heads and our minds 24/7. So that's something that you can experience if you indulge in such a thing. What else did I play? Did I play anything else this weekend? I watched some things. I went through a bunch of anime. Just so many anime. That was something I could absolutely watch. Weish, I know you said that you binged The Boys Season 3 when you got going. Slept a lot. I didn't try to fight it. Yeah, I didn't sleep very much. Definitely did not sleep very much. Especially because I wanted to be at least somewhat available to help my wife if she needed it. Just because Quinn is so young. But even then, I couldn't really help that much. Gosh, what did I play? Let's look at my journal. I think this is the only games that I beat. I did start up a new round of Story of Seasons Friends of Mineral Town. That was a good time. And played plenty of Marvel Snap. I started up a new campaign of Sonic Adventure 2 Battle. I got so many shows to watch. Pretty much hit the pause button on Fun and Games September 1st. So I got Lord of the Rings and Game of Thrones to watch and finished BCS. Plus literally all the summer and fall anime. There have been some good ones. I've watched a lot of really great anime. I think my favorite anime so far of this season, like the past 2 seasons, has been Lycoris Recoil. Remains to be my favorite. Anime that I did not expect to like as much as I've liked it so much is More Than a Married Couple But Not Lovers. I thought it was going to be really cringe, and it is pretty cringe. But, hoo boy, do I love those characters. They're so charming. And The Eminence in Shadow was one I did not know about, but everybody started talking about, and so I was like, well, I guess I'll check it out. And now I know that The Eminence, it's like a big deal. It's like the manga is something that people have been passing around like a webcomic like One Punch for years. And so I'm super curious to continue watching it. It's a good subverted expectations anime where the main character doesn't want to be the main character. Good times. Good times. Yeah, been watching some good anime. But yeah, I was not expecting More Than a Married Couple But Not Lovers to get me as much as it did. But I'm in it. I'm here for it. Absolutely here. All right, we're going to get back into, I think that's all I've got. So we're going to get into some Pokemon White. We're going to continue our journey through Pokemon White, and I'm going to enter cozy mode real quick. What I think I'm going to do real quick is make some more tea. Because I think tea sounds really nice right now. So I'm going to work on some tea real fast, and shouldn't have to step away for more than a second. Way more than a second. Stepped away for so many seconds. Truly, so many seconds. I'm trying to remember if there's anything else. Was there anything else that I was supposed to tell you guys? I ordered the Omori Omocat mug. I'm very excited about that. If you missed the summer or the winter drop, rather, you haven't looked through that yet, we can look through that real quick while this water is a-brewing. So Omocat announced their winter collection, and I got the mug. I got the enamel mug. I couldn't not. With how much I drink tea on stream, I thought it justified itself. But I was very tempted by the desk mats. Very tempted. It's done? What's done? Omori? Never. I was very tempted by the desk mats. Look at that. I love the picnic one. Of course I was tempted by the sweater, but that's way too expensive. Never gonna happen. Washi tape. If I still did my, the bracket challenge. Oh, rock on. We can post that. Dope. Well, I appreciate you putting that together, man. We'll make sure to post that and re-up the challenge and let people know that it is a thing and that it is happening. And that they will enter for a chance to win. Oh, show. Was that I think that was the full collection. So we've got the plush sold out because of course it did. The scarf, I don't foresee that selling. Who's going to sell these? Who's going to buy these? I got a meeting in 5 minutes, so peace. We'll keep stream open. Appreciate you, Buish. It was good to see you. Enjoy your meeting. Hope to catch you around sometime soon, my friend. Zando, which bracket? We are doing the Game Awards bracket again. Were you in it last year? I feel like you were. Were you not? I can't remember. But we will be doing a challenge again this year where we're going to be doing the Game Awards. You pick what you think will win in each category. Submit that through a sheet that I'm going to post. Yes. Through a sheet that I'm going to post. And then however many you get correct, you get 1 point. And by the end, we see who has the most points. And that's how we're going to do it. And we will do the same thing, except a little bit different this time. I will do $25 towards whatever preference you have between Amazon, Xbox, Switch, eShop, Play PS Store, whatever they're called. So we'll make one of those work. Yep, I think that was it. The hats were the new things. So this is all the new Omori stuff. I was also very tempted by the socks. I don't wear hats anymore, so I wasn't tempted as much by the hats, but very tempted by the desk mat. Look at how good it looks. I want the picnic desk mat so bad. Oh, and I love how each one has the little plushies. Oh, so cute. So yeah, that's happening soon. My tea is ready, so I'm going to go start it. Okay. We're going to give that a couple minutes to steep, and we're going to go ahead and start Pokemon Y. We're going to engage Cozy Mode early today, you guys. We are engaging Cozy Mode early. We're going to up the game category. No promises that I will make it to 4 o'clock today. I'm going to try my best, but I got to be real with you guys. I am so tired, and COVID has really kicked my butt. So I will either make it or I will not. And those are the only two things you can do, right? But I tell you, I am real tired. Okay. Goodbye, Spoofy. And hello, DS. All right, now, as I recall correctly, I think we had to do a good bit of grinding still. I think that was where we left off. Because Bryce Cream has to take down the gym leader or something, and the gym leader is pretty tough. That sounds familiar. So we're going to get right into the news. Unless I'm just dead wrong.
But I'm pretty sure... pretty sure we were grinding out here. Tranquil. Plan for this week, folks, is that we're gonna stream today. Tomorrow, we're gonna stream Sonic Frontiers, so don't expect a voter in the morning at 8:30. If you don't see a voter at 8:30, do not assume that I've come down with COVID again. Just assume that the voter is not going up because we're playing Sonic Frontiers tomorrow. Because I gotta give it a shot. Because I'm not gonna let myself play it until I play it for you guys. You guys get my first reaction to the game. And then all bets are off. You get my first reaction and nothing else. Not a minute more, because I've been excited about this game for a long time, and I'm very excited to play it. Same goes with Friday, really. The first time I play Pokemon Violet will be on stream, and that is the only safe zone that you have. As soon as I get off stream, I anticipate I'll probably go play Scarlet, and I will not stop until I feel like stopping. That's just how I got to do it with these games that I love. I will give you guys my first and special reaction, but that is all I can promise. We also have a bunch of new games to play now with our narrative games. So we got a backlog of games at this point. We got a lot to do. I would anticipate that being our Thursday streams until we get caught up to ourselves. Does everybody know Protect now? Does everybody know Protect? Because it's starting to feel like maybe everybody in Pokemon games knows Protect now. I feel like I have fought nary an enemy that has not known Protect. Maybe I've lost it, but I'm pretty sure that's the case. Thank you for your lurk, Marwit. Appreciate you. He's grass type, I think, right? Maybe you're secretly playing Radical Black. Clearly. Did you ever finish Radical Red? Did you keep pushing through, Xando? It's a lot of fun. It's a good challenge. Expect a lot of those. Expect a lot of yawns. I beat Brock and then played less challenging things. Hey, that's a huge achievement. Like the randomizer, did you play the Link to the Past randomizer? Have I caught Carablast? Yes, I have. I did manage to go see Wakanda Forever. I wore a mask the entire time. I do not miss seeing movies in such a way. Believe it or not, I haven't played much in like a month, maybe 2 to 3 weeks, not sure. I'll believe you. I believe you're telling the truth. I'm surprised, but I'll trust you. I did officially test negative for those who are curious. That was my big rule for returning to the public eye. Was once I test negative. Worth it.
Yeah, we cannot stand up. Holy moly, look at us. We're all dying. We're all dying to these deer and birds. Getting wrecked by deer and birds. Irish breakfast tea is very nice. An enjoyable experience. Did I finish the story? Monday, today, we're playing Pokemon. Tuesday, tomorrow, we're playing Sonic Frontiers. Wednesday, we're having a game together night. I'm very interested in hearing opinions on what we should play that night. I'm thinking Among Us VR would be fun, but I don't know how many people have VR. And so it might not be fun. But it might at least be fun to watch. To bring it back to last week in Arrested Development quotes, every time you fight through a yawn, I think of Buster saying, "We're just blowing right through nap time today, huh?" Tony Hill's so good. We need more things with Tony Hale in it. Have I caught you, Swadloon? I have not. Ooh. All right, well, I'm going to try to catch this Swadloon. You guys let me know what you want to name it. We're going to go for it, though. There's going to be lots of them. I've been checking my oxygen level. So I have a history of asthma. And I've been checking my oxygen level downright nonstop. And it has never dropped. But I sure am yawning like nobody's business. Please don't one hit. Don't do it. Ah, but you could have at least hit. You didn't have to one hit, but I needed you to at least hit. Abba Moses. Yes, I did see Wakanda Forever. Recommend it. I think it is the best Marvel movie of this phase. And I really enjoyed Shang-Chi, but I think it is the best of this phase. It was quite an enjoyable movie. Better than Spider-Man. Oh my gosh, so much better than Spider-Man. So much better than Spider-Man. Although similar in a lot of ways, I'm probably harder on Spider-Man than I ought to be because really they made the same mistakes. Both Spider-Man and Black Panther made the same mistakes in their movies. So I should maybe be a bit more generous. But yes. Definitely better than Homecoming for me. I'm actually really glad that I haven't gone back. I don't want to watch Homecoming really ever again. Because I think if I ever see it again, I will like it less. Whereas maybe Multiverse of Madness, maybe I could watch it again and give it a better chance. But I really only see Homecoming becoming worse on future viewings. Is it Homecoming? Which one was this one? It wasn't Homecoming. No Way Home. Such a ridiculous naming cycle. No Way Home. Did I kill the grass thing? I just realized. Did I sleep through that entire match? Homecoming, Far From Home, No Way Home. Homecoming I enjoyed. Far From Home was okay. Now, No Way Home was definitely better than Multiverse of Madness. I'll give him that. Definitely better. Definitely. I started listening to a new podcast this weekend. This time from Joshua Seth, who you may have never heard that name. You may have heard that name many times. Zando, I know you're into voice acting. so there's a chance you may have heard that name many a time, but it's Ty's voice from Digimon. And the name is Voiceover Champions with Joshua Seth. And it's basically just him sitting down with other voice actors. And just that. Far From Home is the best of the three for you, you think? Interesting. Any of them, honestly, could be the best one. They're all kind of just there for me. But yes, Joshua Seth, he's the voice of Ty. He's the voice of... what's his name from Akira? The friend. The friend from Akira. The big bulbous one. The one that goes all Stay Puft Man. Kaneda. No, Kaneda's the main character, right? Is Kaneda the best friend? Tetsuo! Tetsuo, that's definitely it. Yeah, he voices Tetsuo in the dub. What else? What else is Joshua Seth in? Tons of stuff. He's got such a weird voice. Very, very... He's kind of the Bryce Papenbrook of the 90s. I haven't watched Akira in so long. It's been a long time for me as well. Has anybody watched the Grogu short? The Miyazaki Grogu short on Disney? It's on my... Eventually I'll watch it. I honestly only log in to Disney Plus on a rare occasion. But the reason I brought that up is that I learned that Joshua Seth auditioned for, before he got Digimon, he auditioned for the voice of Alpha 5 in Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. And it just blew my mind. Because he could have been a totally different, very important character to my childhood than Ty. If he would have gotten the job as Alpha 5, he would have been a totally different... I do know who does Alpha 5's voice. But I don't know off the top of my head like I do Joshua Seth. Digimon was so much more important to me than Mighty Morphin. Also, R.I.P. to Kevin Connolly, man. What an awful weekend it was to lose a literal legend. What did I say? Did I not say Kevin Conroy? I'm telling you guys. I'm telling you. I said Kevin Connolly. I don't even know who that is. Is that a person? I know Jennifer Connolly. This fog brain. I'm literally paying no attention to Pokemon. I'm absolutely running on fumes. And I'm just grinding. This is the grinding game. This is what we do. This is what Pokemon trainers do. Is Kevin Connolly a person? Did I make Kevin Connolly up? Was in Entourage. I have watched an episode of Entourage. Well, I definitely don't know who that is. I couldn't picture him in a million years. But I do know Jennifer Connelly. And I do know Kevin Conroy. And I do know that Kevin Conroy is the best Batman. And that Kevin Conroy has passed. And that is very sad. Because he's my Batman. That was always my answer when people would ask, like, who's your Batman? Is it... You know, is it the new Dark Knight, or is it the classics, or is it the Tim Burton Batman, or whatever? It's the animated series. ...150%. What's up, Rain Plus Cat? Happy Monday, everyone. It's good to be back, Rain. It is good to be back. I'm very fog brain and speaking okay, doing all right. Walk into class, enjoy it. What class you got today, Rain? Where are you headed? Old Testament? Church history? APY still there? I don't even keep up with the staff. But I feel like I saw a whole lot of APY the first year. Church history. Rock on. With Warren Smith, I presume. He's a fun guy. I don't remember what APY taught. Yeah, Dr. Smith. Enjoy him. He's great. Very smart man. I don't know if you've eaten in the Mexican place, Rainbow Scat, but that is my favorite place on Duke campus. I dream about it at night. I'll wake up in a cold sweat thinking of those plantains. It really is the best place on campus. They have some great food at Duke. Great food, but that Mexican place is a cut above, dude. My buddy used to always like to go get the barbecue place. Nuh-uh. Can't compare. Cannot compare to the work of art that is that Mexican place. Guess we gotta go heal. I really just wasn't anticipating a ground type boss. I maybe should have done more research as I was forming my team. Love the Mexican place. It's the best. If you don't get the plantains, I'm telling ya, those plantains are so good. It's my favorite place to go. I went there most days. Like, there are people that say that they could have something like every day, you know, and they don't mean it. I mean it. I could eat Mexican food every single day. I could do it. I could do it easy peasy, lemon squeeze. I'm afraid my kid has talked me into playing Pokemon TCG. I'm now afraid of my bank account. You should be. You should be. My advice is to do exactly what I do and to buy the Elite Trainer Box, the ETB, with each new edition, and then don't touch another card. Buy yourself the ETB, and then never buy another booster. Unless, of course, there's a Ditto. And then you get real obsessed in trying to find that Ditto. But normally I'm pretty good. I'll buy the ETB, and maybe I'll buy another 3-packs after. My advice is to become a Pokemon, or a Master Thief, not a Pokemon Master. A Master Thief, and never buy anything is the only way. That would also be good advice. I'm glad you're enjoying the TCG. I love the TCG as well. I enjoy it a lot. I think it's a fun mechanic, and if they would just stinking release the online app, then I'd play it again. But I refuse to play that 90s dial-up internet interface. Give me the new one. I haven't played the TCG online app in a long time, and I haven't bought any cards in like 2 weeks. I ordered a trainer box because it was on sale for $20. It's a great deal. That is a great deal. I love ETBs. ETBs are super fun, and then you have something to keep your cards in when you're done. I keep watching my boy, the Swedish Fish Official, do his streams where he does giveaways all the time, but that's the most I do. Well, I would love to play the online app as soon as it releases. I'll get back into it. Especially because I think it's supposed to be on my phone, and then I can play on my phone again. But the APK, it worked, but it took up way too much room. Although I think, are we in a chat of iPhone users? Rain, do you have an Android? Y'all wouldn't know. Oh, y'all wouldn't know. Okay. I have an Amazon gift card, so I may order the new ETB. That's why I had to order one from Amazon. It's been a long time since I've ordered cards on Amazon, but it is what it is, you know? I couldn't very well go to the store. I have iPhone because I'm afraid of the future. Yeah, understandable. I have an iPhone because my construction job buys it. You know what? That's the one acceptable response I've heard. That is the acceptable one. Free phone? Is buying on Amazon bad? No. I like the experience of going to the store and feeling like I have the luck of the cards on my hand. There's nothing wrong with buying on Amazon by any means. Sometimes it might be more expensive. And I have had cards not show up. I've had many canceled Amazon purchases. I'm a little nervous about it this time. It says it's already shipped, so I think we're okay. But I've had that happen a lot with cards on Amazon. I haven't had any get bent, at least. And Walmart's done that to me more than a few times. Walmart just doesn't respect their cards. So it's a long road to level 26, you guys. I don't know if Ice Cream's going to make it. Maybe I need to give him just experience share and start pounding through. I just replaced my iPhone 12 mini with an iPhone 14 Pro Max. My battery was broke on the 12. On the 12. Got you. I really enjoy Android, and I throw sticks and stones at Apple, but it's all in good fun. I don't care what you use. But I do have a problem when people tell me I shouldn't be on Android. Or when they talk about just how clean the UI of Apple is, and I'm like, I know how clean it is. I don't want it. I don't want to be limited. But again, free phone takes absolute priority. Free phone wins all the arguments. My buddy gets a phone for work as well. And then he buys his own phone. So he has one of each. That's the best world. If I was buying with my money, I'd probably be Android because, well, I'm cheap, and Androids are cheaper. Dims the brakes. There was a commercial this weekend at the movies of the new Flip. And I don't know, it just kind of tickled me. It just kind of tickled me that they were marketing the flip phone as being a built-in camera stand. And something about that just tickled me. Something about the camera stand, like people setting up their phone like a little ring box and taking a selfie. It makes sense, but I would have never thought to use the phone like that. Switching my family from AT&T to Mint Mobile because my bill is $350 a month. Tell me more about Mint Mobile. You're actually making the jump. You go. Man, I tell you what, Ryan Reynolds pays for a lot of those commercials, and I would love to make the switch as well if I could trust the service. Use what you want. I don't understand the fierce divide. I stick with Apple because I know that whenever my new features release on Apple to work and it'll be widely accepted. It'd be cool to be on the cutting edge, but if businesses aren't implementing the things, then what's the point? Yeah, I just use all Google stuff, man. That's the thing, right? Is that I talk a big talk, but at the end of the day, I get the exact same experience. I just use Google. Google's neck and neck. There are people that are innovating and doing things. Mint is just T-Mobile, no problem so far. I never had T-Mobile. I used Verizon. Why am I confused, dude? Don't hurt yourself. Why? Why? I don't even know what my moves do. I literally don't even know what these moves do. Also, Verizon Boy have been for almost 20 years. I've been ever since Alltel was bought out by them. I had AT&T because I worked there for many years. Gotcha. Is he just going to confuse all my boys? $15 per month per line is too good. Well, I tell you, I am real tired of paying the prices. I still don't know what any of them do. I don't know why I won't look up the moves. If your phone is unlocked, I can give you a sound to try it out. That's not good. I appreciate that, Ray. Odds are I will not switch for one reason and one reason alone, and that is purely the hassle. I would rather pay buckets of money than make the hassle to switch. Isn't that so lazy? You think this is what they want me to do? Negative! Negative! It is not what they want me to do. Not hard. I was the same way, but I did it. But you are an inspiration to us all, Nathan. Just realized the investment of this green screen is that I'll have to get proper lighting for it to not look like garbage. I don't know, man. Have you seen that? It's really pretty impressive what some of those green screens are capable of, dude. Naha, no. What am I supposed to do? All right. Well, I really thought that was gonna be the answer. Cool. I've been really impressed by the hardware of a lot of OBS stuff. You really don't need lighting. It's pretty intuitive. It ain't the old days of chroma keying. Rocko rock. Playing around with it in the logic capture, and it looks like TV static behind me because my lighting isn't great. Maybe it'll be different at night. I should just close my blackout curtains and try it out. Ooh, I didn't think about light from behind. Yeah, we don't have that issue in here because there's not a window to be seen. Have you tried the OBS though? OBS keying is a little different. OBS really is hyper intelligent. It is a bafflingly good software, especially for shareware. Haha! I'm not even sure I'm ready for clay. I think I need to go heal first. Aw, Clerk Katie. I love that sprite. Don't do that, Drillbur. Don't do that, buddy boy. Wow, I do so much damage. If I can just get him, I do so much damage. That's a lot of damage. So next up is Clay. I don't know if I'm able to take him on. I don't know if I'm in a place where I should. You know? I'm gonna go heal. Unless I needed to take on that businessman. If I go heal and then I gotta take on that businessman, I'm gonna be real upset. I'm gonna be an unhappy boy. Rain, have you registered for classes? Have they done classes for next semester? I feel like it's around that time. We got to be right on the precipice. Yeah, what did you register for next semester? If you don't mind me asking, other than the core stuff, are you taking anything fun? They did something real fun to us our first year, where they had us take a. They had us take a sermon writing course, and it was taught by an adjunct. And so it didn't count. And I was a grumpy boy. Just core because I'm student pastor. Got you. I couldn't remember if you took like one fun and then a bunch of cores. My biggest regret was that I really wish I had known more about the certificate courses, because I would have started pursuing a theology in the arts certificate if I had known about it. But nobody told me. Nobody ever told me that the certificates were even a thing. Why would he avoid it, dude? He's only 2 levels above me. Oh, swagger. No, just the back half of church history, second half of OT, and New Testament. Man, I loved New Testament. Don't do it. Thank you, Bryce Cream. Thank you, BB. But I did. I so badly regretted it. I didn't get to meet Jeremy Begbie until my 4th year there, and I was like, are you kidding me? This is who I wanted to spend all of my time with. I missed 3 years of Jeremy Begbie. Who do you think sees Palpitoad and is like, that's my Pokemon. That's my guy, dude. That's the one that I want. Or do you think that's what people say about me with Delibird? People are like, man, who would ever want Delibird as their favorite Pokemon? It's very positive. Love that boy, though. You see him? I can't see him. He's behind me. He's back there. Well, gotta head out and ask a library a question before class. Glad you're feeling better. Have a great day, everyone. See ya. Deuces, Rain plus Cat. Have a great rest of your day. heal, huh? Palpitoad is filler. Xando, have you been able to avoid spoilers, or do you not really care about Scarlet and Violet? It has been impossible. What's up, Kuro? How we doing, my friend? Was good. My Switch? Yeah, sure. We've been grinding some, Kuro. Been grinding for about 30 minutes. Now we're taking on the gym. See if we can get ourselves a little badgy badge. You're getting Violet, but I'm not dying to see spoilers, so it's an easy dodge. Yeah, I am dying. It's everywhere. Everywhere. I can't avoid them. Doing okay. Belated day at work so far. Yourself? Day is going pretty good. I'm real tired. Tired to getting confused is what I'm tired of. Don't do it. Don't do it, Bryce Cream. Curse you, Bryce Cream. Curse you. The last thing I saw was the thing they're connecting to Pokemon Go. A little gimme ghoul. A little gabagool. A little gabaguy. Is that the one you're talking about? Tired. What's got you tired? COVID. Still recovering. That's where I've been. In case you haven't checked out the Discord. I did get COVID last Tuesday. And so I'm officially a week out tomorrow. That's the one in the Ghost Dog before that. Yeah, I'm excited about the Ghost Dog. I like the Ghost Dog. I'm a fan of the Ghost Dog. He is my friend. He was my friend. Oh man, yeah, it was really rough. It was really, really rough. Definitely plan on getting the Ghost Dog and naming it Whitaker. I love it. I plan on catching all. I gotta catch them all. That's obvious. The answer is I gotta catch them all. But doggone it if they don't stop trying to show me all the new Pokemons. I don't want to see them. I want to see them in the wild for the first time. Oh, hey! What's up, Hertz? Sorry to hear that. It's all good, Kuro. Is what it is. Made for a real long week. And it's made for me a little foggy. I made up a person earlier. Kevin Connolly. Trying to give respect to the name of Kevin Conroy, and I said Kevin Connolly instead. Zeb Striker! Made up a person, yep, just invented him. Out of thin air. Alright, we're gonna have to heal. It takes some talent, godlike powers. I don't know about that. Take some foggy brain. A foggy brain. In London town. It has me up. It has me down. Then suddenly... Where am I? What are we doing? What are we doing, huh? What's the plan? Am I confused? What are we doing here, huh? What are we doing? How have I gotten... Yeah, about NaNoWriMo, I kind of gave up. Kind of, a little bit, sort of gave up. I definitely got burnt out. That's not exactly true. I didn't really get burnt out, but I can't write with COVID. So my brain just gave up. But my game plan is to, yeah, I'm gonna try to get back into it, but I got a lot of catching up to do because I pretty much took all of last week off. I've only had the one night free to write and haven't been able to since. I'd really be interested in getting back into it, and I hope that I'm able to, but as of right now, I'm at a kind of a stalemate. I think it's about time to see for myself what it is about your skills that made a gym leader like Elisa take such a shine to you. We'll try and get back into it, but I'm at least taking another day. Try again next month. I mean, I plan on finishing the game, so it's got to happen eventually. It really just depends on if my brain is there. My brain was not there this morning. I tried to write this morning, couldn't do it. It's amazing in a bad way. It is incredible. I sit in front of a computer screen and I'm such a creative person and I just sit there and I just stare at the page and I just can't write. And that's so not me. It took me, so normally whenever I write my sermons, my nerdy sermons, once I get the idea, once I get the exegesis done, once I get the scripture, all that sort of stuff worked through, normally it takes me like an hour to an hour and a half to write the actual sermon. Writing my sermon for this upcoming Sunday took me about 4 hours. And that is just not me. So it's very discouraging. Get that with coding too. I believe it. No! Bryce Cream! Bryce Cream, you are the king, dude. The GOAT. The GICAT. The GICAT. The greatest ice cream of all time. Probably should have changed you out because you were still confused. Probably should have changed you out, but I didn't. I didn't, and now I can't. Okay, Avalanche, sure. Uh-oh. That wasn't nice. That wasn't nice, though, Excadrill. I'd go so far as to say that was unkind. If I had to put my word to it, I would say unkind. I know you said you've had a rough day, Kuro, but how was the weekend? Was the weekend any better? I didn't even really say yeah. Not nice. Not nice. Weekend was awful. Oh no. Never mind. I prefer today's blah day to the awful weekend. I hate to hear that, man. Well, the good news is that each new day happens. Here and getting stuff done, that's right. Making progress. Another new day. And we just keep dancing, don't we, Excadrill? Sometimes that's how I work through a funk. If I'm in a funk, I just work through it. I just push through and I gotta do something. Now I'll keep him out here for Palpitoad. What's up, gross little guy? Giving up's the easy way out. If I wanted, I could have given up any old time. Where did that classic... Why are we playing classic Pokemon all of a sudden? Are we really like, hey, it's the 4th badge. Why don't we bring back the most eponymous motif? What are we doing? I fell asleep with the phone in my hand. Stained! What on earth? We're playing Pokemons. You fell asleep? When? I mean, I appreciate you lurking for that long. Do you need another nap, Stained? Get more sleep. Stop playing so much God of War. Go to sleep. Stop playing God of War and go to sleep, Stained. I'm going to have the whole Discord like ping Stained at 9:50 tonight and be like, are you getting ready for bed? Are you getting ready for bed? Because it's time to go to bed. During the Game Awards stuff. That was so long ago. I see. But I sure don't like it. For such a youngin', you have an imposing battle style. I know you got people who can dig up your potential. Take this. Take this. Oh, wow. It's a bullet. Or is it a cigar? That's just a cigar. I feel pretty good now, though. That's because you needed sleep, Stain. Quake badge. 5th badge. Wow, 5 badges in. Waiting from the cave at the end of Route 6, would ya? Look at us. Look at us just taking down one gym leader after the next. What they got that we don't got? Nothing. Oh, boy. Your neck. Yeah, I imagine so. I'm the one recovering from the vid, man. I'm the one supposed to be taking a nap. But here I am, slave in the way. I am definitely thinking about a third cup of tea, and I feel like that's too much tea. I feel like that is way too much tea. We all need naps, clearly. All God's children need naps. I am ready to get out of this music, though, that's for sure. All right, Hertz, I'm going to take your item from you, my friend. I'm going to give it to Abba Moses. Oh, hi, Check. Never too much tea. Might be too much tea. Oh, it's Bianca! Hey, were you at the gym just now? Oh, hey, that's Driftville's gym badge. Oh, that's totally cool. That's amazing. No. I can't get distracted being all impressed with your shiny new badge. I'm also a trainer. At times like this, you battle, right? Bianca. I mean, I love the sound design of this game, but they do make some very odd decisions. Like, this game is set in New York or whatever, and they're like, what screams New York like a nice accordion sound? I honestly don't know if any of these will be very helpful. What about trumpets and accordions? That screams New York. That's New York, baby. That's New York. Yeah, that did nothing. My Pokemon can take that, I'm sure. Well, probably. Okay. Old Chuck. Would you mind throwing this Herdier through the moon? Would you mind just taking this Herdier and just throwing it through the moon, to the surface of the moon? If you wouldn't mind. Be a deer. Be a deer and just throw him through the surface of the sun. Thanks, Chuck. All right, Masharna. Do I have anyone that can do anything with Masharna? Does anybody have a dark type move? Not really. I guess at least Pursuit will do something. Something about the way that he landed out of the Pokeball just on all fours really cracked me up. Kershmat. Wow. Super effective, you say. I'm not sure I believe you. Nice. Get that stab damage, baby. No, don't do a Hyper Potion. Can we not and say we did? Can we not do a Hyper Potion and instead just say that we did it? I think at 3 o'clock, I'll probably go make more tea. 10 minutes, I'll make more tea. Probably shouldn't, but I'm probably gonna. Because I'm very disappointed in myself. I think we're putting up Christmas decorations this weekend. I always said I wouldn't. But here I am. The truth is that my wife and I have made a little deal. I've brokered a little deal. A little exchange, if you will. I will agree to help set up the Christmas decorations this week. If she lets me play Pokemon. I was like, hey, this new Pokemon game comes out this weekend and I really want to play as much as possible. And that was the agreement. So, wife has already started playing the Christmas music radio station. Now we haven't gone that far. But my wife and I really don't ride that much in the car together. So I don't have to worry about that one too much. I don't even know if I turned on that radio station. I mean, you think I listen to podcasts. I really don't listen to the radio. Now I might play the spoofy. I might play a Christmas spoofy. She does it in the house. Man, Masharna is clearing house, homie. Are you kidding? What is going on, Masharna? Enough. Cease and desist. Don't use the hyper potion. Don't do it. Stop. I don't like it. So many, dude. Are you kidding? Ah! How? How? How am I supposed to beat Musharna? Why is Musharna OP out of nowhere? Alright, we gotta figure something out here. Because Musharna's obliterating my entire team. She just keeps using Defense Curl. Don't put me to sleep! Don't do it. Don't even do it. Musharna plays no games. Stop with the defense. Stop it. Man. What am I going to do? What am I going to do? That was what an actual avalanche on her head did. What does taunt do? Ooh, not what I wanted. Actually, that was fine. It'd be nice if I could freeze her solid. Ooh, that did a good chunk of damage. Okay. Are you going to take me down now? Are you going to kill me now? One hit KO somehow? Wouldn't have surprised me. I think I made her mad. I think I made her mad. That's not enough damage. Boaz, what do you have, buddy? Let's try it. Come on, dude. I swear if she's got another hyper potion, I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know what I'm going to do. If she's got another hyper potion hiding, I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know what I'm going to do. Praise all things. Goodbye. Goodbye, Musharna. Goodbye forever. See you never. Hand pour. I was away for a few minutes. I didn't see what was happening, but it definitely sounded like a bad time. It was a bad time. And now I got a Panpour, and my electric Pokemon is dead. So that's fantastic. Fantastic. Really, really good. Really good stuff. All right, Adam Moses. Violet is officially purchased and downloading. Now to wait for Friday. That's so exciting. So excited for it. I don't honestly know what Heart Stamp does. Nothing. I'm very excited, Xando. I'm so looking forward to the games. I'm gonna be playing so much of them. It's gonna be a great experience. I really have enjoyed all of the last generations of Pokemon. I really can't think of a Pokemon experience that I didn't enjoy. Servine, huh? This will be fine. Man, that was Sharna really did just wipe my entire team. Good job, Abba Moses. Now you just got to figure out what starter you're going to do. Super effective and a crit. I know I'm surprised it didn't one-hit KO, even with a 4-level gap. Is there another Swoobat evolution? Is there a third gen? Third evolution? I feel like I don't know any of these Pokemon. I can only think of Pokemon experiences I didn't enjoy. I don't want that. Stains, you're in the minority. You're in the minority there just like I'm in the minority with God of War and the fact that I've never played it. I haven't had a Pokemon battle with you in a while, Jack. You've become totally strong, huh? I'm not that strong, so I don't know how to say it, but I think you're way tuned in on how your Pokemon feel. Oh, you know what? I want to share this HM with you, Jack. Thank you. My papa gave it to me after he tried to take me home that time. I'm sure it's so I can come home anytime he wants, though. Oh, hey, I have to share this with Sharon, too. See you, Jack. Bye-bye. Hey, she says bye-bye. I didn't notice that. Bye-bye. God loves you. We love you. You matter. Bye-bye. Yeah, finally have fast travel unlocked. Yep, at least we each care for our beloved. Hey, thanks for the lurk, XG Ninja. Hope that you're having a good Monday. Good start to the work week. Appreciate your lurk. Right, Route 6. Man, I went to go look for God of War because I was like, maybe I'll try it, but I don't have time is the issue. I don't have time to throw into the game. But I did go at least look at it in the game store. I considered it because I looked up how the experience was on the Steam Deck and people were like, it's not that bad. So that's enough for me. That's encouragement enough. If it's not that bad, I'll take it. Because I have an extremely low barrier of entry for graphics. I mean, look at the games that I enjoy. I'm looking forward to a sale on Steam. I'll eventually try out God of War again. I bet you will get one. Very soon. It kind of surprised me they didn't do one with the second one's launch. Or maybe they did and I just missed it. I've also still got to play the first Plague Tale. Now, that one I do own. I haven't heard how it is on Steam. Then they did, it was not the price I was looking for. Oh, gotcha. It's like a 10% discount. Man, it's Steam. If it ain't a 75% discount, why are you even bothering? If you're on Steam and you're not offering a 75% off discount, why even offer one at all? Why even bother putting a discount on it on Steam if it's not there? Because I can go and find any game I want for 75% off, except for yours, whoever you are. that does such a thing. Steam always has crazy deals. I have been working through my backlog, though. I've got very few games left on Game Pass now, which really excites me. Slowly but surely, I have been whittling away at my Game Pass backlog. Now, if I would actually pay attention to my Steam backlog, that would be the much wiser decision. I think the sale was like $10 off. I know if I wait, I can get it for at least half price, and I'm in at half price. There you go. I'm amazed it hasn't been in a Humble Bundle. Come on. Come on! Bring it into a Humble Bundle. I don't want Deathloop. I don't want Deathloop on a Humble Bundle. I want God of War, dude. Give me a game I want to play. Give me that sweet, sweet, humble choice of God of War. Can you imagine? I guess I could go buy it on the Humble Store. I wonder how much more knocked down it would be. Because I have the like top tier thing from being grandfathered in, so I have the 20% off discount for it. Curious, Aaron, curious, Aaron. I'll look into it. I shall think on it. Just ordered new lights and a power source on Amazon. My Twitch payout is officially gone and all put into stream upgrades. Now, if only I could decide on a solid stream schedule and keep those payouts coming. Well, I've enjoyed the sporadic occasional streams here and there whenever I'm able to join in. You'll figure it out, Xando. The tricky thing about streaming is it does take up so much time. And you do feel like you have to be so consistent with it. And admittedly, if you want to build like a Twitch audience, you do. Pokemon with dry skin love watertight moves and rainy weather. I'm talking about the ability of these Pokemon, of course. Good talking to you. No. It's a close one. Carmen Sandiego. You guys, I know where in the world she is. She's right here. Stop searching. Stop the search. We know now. Where in the world is? Oh, I said I would make more tea and I need to get up, but I don't want to get up. Cozy. Cozy and comfortable right here. Feeling pretty good. Feeling pretty good in this spot. What's up, Perry? How we doing, my friend? Welcome, welcome. Playing some Pocket Mans here. We did talk about you earlier, Perry. We were watching Crossfire's latest episode of the news. And, man, things really just keep on crumbling for those poor Disco Elysium people, dude. It just keeps getting worse and worse. It's like every time I turn around, somebody's throwing mud. And it's developing into a worse and worse environment. It's real sad times. Well, Boaz, I didn't want that for you, buddy. Stop paying attention. Stop paying attention. The next thing I know, you're gone. What was happening? So, 2 people left. And then somebody along the way started making a little bit of a fuss of kind of like, we didn't leave under the best terms. And it has continued to dogpile on why they left, what they were doing, whether they were fired, whether there was embezzlement going on. Like, it keeps getting worse and worse and more dramatized. We have no idea who did what to whom. We just know that they are all in a rough spot. 2 of the developers left the team, the Zayum team, from Disco Elysium. Y'all, naps during stream, 5 out of 5 stars, highly recommend. Yes, I agree. Sleep while I speak. Yeah, it's a real sad time. Especially because I've been really excited to play Disco Elysium for many a day. So I would love to actually get to play it, but now I feel like it's been a little soiled to know that they have a toxic work environment. I think you'd really enjoy it. It's one that's been on my radar for a long time. I started it, and I don't know if it didn't click, or if I didn't have the time or the mental headspace for it, but something about it, it just wasn't the right time. Just wasn't the time. But I own it. I own the Final Cut on Switch. So I'll get back into it eventually, I'm sure. Albeit now is not a great time. That's actually something, I went through a bunch of my backlog of short games because of the fact that you hear the sound of breathing Pokemon and plants. Okay. Calm down. What was I saying? I've been playing a bunch of short games because I know that Pokemon is right around the corner, and I don't want to start a new game that I know is going to be like a long form game. So I've just been playing through a bunch of like 8 to 10 hour games. It's especially sad because I love the idea of creative collectives, and clearly them organizing into a formal game studio did not transition well. Yeah. The vibe I got was friends working together, and that often doesn't go well. But that's just me from the outside looking in. I've really not done much research aside from what the news is telling us. But odds are, if you work with your friends, it's not going to go well. Once money becomes involved, once it goes beyond just a friendly project, it's rough. Ooh, Fungus. Hello, Fungus. Would you like to be my friend? Fungus. One thing when you're co-working or doing stuff for funnies, but money makes it bad news bears. Yep. Definitely makes it tricky. I'm certain the church wouldn't know anything about that. That did no damage, huh? Looks like a couple of the fired employees were caught trying to sell Zam's IPs and other things. Maybe we give this story like a week to settle. And it really, that's the thing though, Kuro, is that it kind of has been. It's like it rears its ugly head over and over and over again. It's been settled several times. macOS autocorrect got me mad. It was supposed to be funsies. I liked funnies. Funnies worked for me. See the stuff about Mick Gordon and id? No, tell me more. I don't know to what you're referring. Oh boy, uh-oh. How heavy is this I'm about to get into now? Oh, Fungus, I didn't realize you'd stolen from me. I didn't know you'd stolen my soul. Fungus. Fungus, don't steal. Don't steal my precious lifeblood, Fungus. All right, what should we name this little boy? No, but I saw the Gymquisition has a YouTube video up on it, so I expect it's something that's going to make me mad. I'm nearing the end of my time with RE Village. Just have to finish the newest DLC story stuff, and then I'm done. Played a lot of mercenaries to unlock all of the weapons. Interesting. All right, Fungus's data was added to the Pokédex.
Number 96, Fungus, the mushroom Pokemon. Grass poison type, height 8 inches, 2.2 pounds. For some reason, this Pokemon resembles a Pokeball. They release poison spores to repel those who try to catch them.
Okay. Fun guy. Or Amogus. I like Amogus. Amogus is a classic. Amogus works. Basically, Mick Gordon got absolutely messed up by an id leadership person who wouldn't pay him, used Mick's name on a project he wasn't contracted on, threw him under the bus, lied, and tried to pay him off to be silent. There's an absolutely massive report from him out there. Among Us is the evolution. Love it. Let's let Boaz take the front for just a minute. Bryce Cream, I'm afraid, just can't hack it. Pouring rain, fighting Pokemon. Great song. Is that Sia? It's not. I tell you, the game industry is a baffling one. And the people that get along and don't get along make it so interesting. Is Temple ground type? I don't remember. I need more tea! Multi-billion-dollar industry being corrupt? No way. Impossible. Well, I definitely made some accusations during our the Game Awards predictions. Speaking of which, everybody, we're going to be posting the Game Awards Bracket Challenge very soon. Same way that we did it last year. The rules of the game are, I'll post the bracket information. You go through one by one, put who you think will win. Whoever gets the most correct will get 1 point for everyone that you get correct. Whoever gets the most correct, it will be known as the Ultimate Gamer of 2022. And you'll also get a $25 gift card towards your favorite gaming platform. And that's much less exciting than the Ultimate Gamer, of course. And we'll watch it all together, of course, on the night of, so that we can keep up with all the good stuff as it happens. Sure, I'll say. Yeah. Post more information about that very soon. But yeah, we did go through one by one through the Game Awards nominees. Kind of talked a little bit about which ones we thought would take it. I was very surprised by some of those entries. Very surprised that Arceus is on there. Absolutely tickle pink that it even got a single nomination. And very surprised by how many times Immortality got on there. I'm really glad that I played that game this week because I wouldn't have known anything about it. There were 3 games on the narrative, or not narrative, but on the Games for Impact that I'd never played before. So they'll get added to my list of games to play in the next couple weeks. That's my favorite category. Always has been, always will be. I bet H-Man doesn't even remember what he spent the $25 on last year. He does remember the title of Ultimate Gamer, even though he's level 2 and a Guardian, and bonus rolls are wasted on us. Yep. Yeah, I guarantee you. He's flaunted that Ultimate Gamer at many a space. I think I need to give you guys something for Ultimate Gamer, so I think I'll probably come up with some piece of merch this year, and I'm going to give it to... I'll send last year's to H-Man, and I'll send one to whoever wins this year. I don't know if it needs to be like a trophy, or if it needs to be like a sticker, a special sticker, or if it needs to be like a t-shirt. I don't know. But I'm going to come up with something for the Ultimate Gamer. Naruto-style headbands? Absolutely. And then whenever, like, so you get it for the 1 year, but then the next year you have to Akatsuki, like, cut through it. Oh boy. We've also got another new game that we're going to be playing in the near future called Off. If you've never heard of this game, neither have I, but I was scrolling through the Twitterverse the other day, and who is that now? What's happening? Off. I was scrolling through the Twitterverse the other day, and somebody had painted art of Yume Nikki, of maybe Omori, of just some other like RPG of One Shot. What's his name? Nico, and said like all the RPG Maker heroes. And there was this guy up at the top, and he was this black and white character with a baseball bat. And I was like, well, what is this? Who is the baseball bat guy? And so I Googled it, and sure enough, Off as a French RPG Maker indie game from many years ago. I think it was like 2011 or something. I can't remember what year it said. And I found a translation of it, and we're going to play it. I don't know if it's quantified as a psychological horror, but it is definitely a psychological-esque game. in the same vein as Yume and the rest of them. So I'm very excited. Very, very excited to play a new RPG Maker style game. The principle of the game sounded very similar to One Shot, so I'm intrigued. Come on, Abba Moses! Everybody keeps dying! This would be the worst. This would be the worst Nuzlocke. I've had such bad luck with all these characters. I'll try to tune in to watch VODs for that one. We'll put the whole thing together for sure. Yeah, especially with those narrative-driven games like that, I really want to go back through the VODs and cut them up really nicely and release them episodically. I've thought about that forever. If I had all the time in the world, it'd be a real miracle. The things I could do. There is strong language in it, though. Be mindful of that. Yeah, I'm used to that. I'll remember to make a note of it whenever we stream it, though. Most of those games do. I typically censor it fairly well. But sometimes there are games that it just can't be done. I'm tired! I'm tired. I want to go heal. I forgot I have fly this entire time. Whatever, Moses. Air Crutter's pretty tough. We're gonna take away confusion. But yes. That will be another game we'll play. We'll see if we get to it before the end of the year. That's the real tricky spot, is that we just have so many games lined up one after another right now. We'll see how much I enjoy Sonic Frontiers. If I really enjoy Sonic, we'll probably play that for a couple weeks. We'll just see. We shall see. Heard good stuff about it. I have literally never heard of it. Until I saw it on Twitter, and then it was like, now I've started hearing about it more. Did I just end up walking through the grass? Did I teach it fly and then walk through the grass the entire way there without getting in a single battle? It's game, dude. Games. Pocket Mans. It took me less time to beat the gym than it did to get through all this grass. I guess I could just cut it, huh? Since that's a thing that everyone knew. Oh. Zando, do you like Resident Evil games because they're Resident Evil games, or do you like the kind of zombie horror game? Do you like that kind of experience? I'm asking, but I just realized you don't even have... Do you have Game Pass anymore? Gachapon! Of course. Was that Piccolo? You were so quiet, buddy. Heyo! Dragon! Rock the dragon. Missed it. Dragon Ball Z. You got the 7-star Dragon Ball, my friend, Kura. Yeah, the Gotcha's voice is real low because the Pokemon music is real low. I like the puzzle solving, story, speedrunning of it all. I've been following the lore for so long, it's neat to keep up on that as well. Got you. Well, there's a new Game Pass game out right now that I hear a lot of Resident Evil fans are very much enjoying, called Signalis. And it's on my list. I'll probably end up playing it at some point. but we'll see. It might be on the Humble launcher, so I know you have Humble. If you've ever downloaded the Humble launcher, maybe there. I wonder if you can get the Humble launcher on the Steam Deck. I would imagine. I've never tried. I've really actually not tried a lot on the Steam Deck. My favorite thing to do on the Steam Deck is to scroll through all of my games and then never pick one. That's my favorite game. That, as for me and my family, is my favorite game. Don't have Humble anymore. I bailed out back in like June or July. I don't remember when. But you probably still have the access to the games that you got from them in the launcher. But you wouldn't have access to the Trove. And I think that's where Signalis is. That's one of those that I'll never get rid of. I'll never get rid of Humble because I'm grandfathered in and I'm too scared. Me too. I love looking at all the possibilities only to revert back to something retro I've played 100 times. Yep. Fortunately, I don't often go back to games that I've played before other than like Pokemon. But that's not true. That's absolutely a lie. I just bold-faced lie to all of you. I literally played Story of Seasons, Friends of Mineral Town this week. And Sonic Adventure 2. I literally played both those games and then I bold-faced lie. I bold-faced lie to both of you. All three of you. Everyone present. Okay, they're studying Deerling. That's something that I had spoiled for me. I don't have it with me. But you can't check my computer? Don't guilt trip me, Grandma. I'm not too busy. If you're too busy to come visit, then okay then. Scrolling through my Steam games is always fun. Yep. That's another thing that having years and years and years and years and years and years of Humble Bundle will do for you is I have too many games. Objectively, too many games. One of it, for real though, my favorite part about the Steam Deck, and I know that Steam probably lets you do this, but it's very rare that I like go through the Steam library on my computer. I really like the sorting functionality because I will sort by Metacritic or I will sort by Steam review, and I love the variety of games that pop up depending on which you do. I've been so surprised by games. Metacritic is not very good at indie games. Whereas with Steam reviews, you're going to get literally all the games. So I have games that are coming up as like the best games of all time. The Metacritic doesn't even have a review on it. Used to have Humble, but it was like 3 months of games I didn't play, and I was a broke college student. Yeah. I got in on the ground floor with that Humble Choice program. And whenever I grandfathered in, I just can't let go. They give me a game or two every couple months that I want to play. Technically speaking, I pay $10 a month. So that's what? $120 a year. That's 2 games a year. If I get 2 games that I would consider as important to me as a AAA game, then I'm getting my due diligence. If it ever gets to the point that I don't feel like I'm getting 2 games worth of experience, then I guess I'll stop. Alright, fungus. Uh-oh. We sure better hope I can one-hit. I have definitely discovered some games that I really, really love through that Humble Trove. They do a good job. Stop choice back in March. That was last month that I got you. Like Citizen Sleeper, I'm pretty sure is a Humble game. Is that right? I'm making that up. I might be thinking that. A lot of the Game Pass games are humble games. I'll say that. I love how I switched Boaz to the front and then haven't had a chance to use him yet. Literally haven't fought anyone that would make sense for him to fight against. Ooh, itchy leg. Yep, another one that I can't fight with this guy. I don't know, maybe Bug Bite would hurt grass. Is it Bug strong against grass? Let's try it. How do you solve a problem like Maria? Got her! They do not want me getting through this patch, do they? I've had so many fights. Had I known the mountain of work that was ahead of me, I wouldn't have been grinding. I would have just gone and taken down all these baddies. Among Us? Fungus? Trying to remember what he is. He's poisoned something else. I don't remember what the other one is. If he's Bug, this will do just fine. I think I got it. We did do a very challenging but important thing this weekend. We went through all of our daughter's toys to get ready for Christmas. And that is always a huge challenge. But we did it. We did the thing. We survived. And we had an entire car full to take to the Goodwill today. Swadloon! Will you be my friend now? Will you finally let me catch you? Will this be the time I catch you? And your little Timmy eyes. It's depressing doing that as you realize all they have never played with. Yeah. It is. It's always a bummer. Oh, wow. Swadloon is playing no games. But the bummer of throwing away things I never played with easily is overcome by being able to see my floors again and having a clean house again. We're also working now on putting toys away. And that's a really big deal. That's a huge step in the right direction.
Swadloon, the leaf-wrapped Pokemon. Bug and grass type. Height 1 foot 8 inches. Weight 16.1 pounds. It protects itself from the cold by wrapping up in leaves. It stays on the move, eating leaves in forests.
All right, I'm pretty sure I'm naming this one Timmy. That being said, my wife says that every time she sees my box of Ninja Turtles, I refuse to part with. Yeah, why do you think I had to start a nerd church, man? Come on. Was it the Holy Spirit moving online and in digital nerdy spaces? Or was it my wife saying, get all that nerdy stuff out of my house? You have a box of Ninja Turtles too? Nice! Among Us! Stain, did you just wake up from another nap? I swear, if your next message, Stained, is just slept again, then I really will send an entire strike force to make you go to sleep tonight at 10 o'clock. We'll hack into your PS5 and turn it off. For new and previously canceled Humble users, there's a promo code for a year for $89. My mom sold all of his Star Wars toys and he was traumatized for it. I feel like, did I miss the first part of the story? Make sure to hang on. By his, I mean my brother. Okay. All of his Star Wars toys and he was traumatized. He always told me to make sure to hang on to my toys, and that was the beginning of my hoarding problem. I enjoy a good nerdy toy. I definitely thought there was like a message before that message that I was missing somewhere. It's like looking everywhere for it. My mom, I have not seen that, Stained. I'll look at it as soon as stream is over and get back to you. Versus Minchino? What was I saying? Was I saying something? I feel like I was saying something. Oh, poor brain. Poor brain. Oh, I remember. My mom sold. My mom was a teacher at a Christian academy in Winston-Salem many years. And then whenever she left her job, she left all of my Legos. And there's a place deep down in my heart that holds on to that grudge. All of my Legos, dude. So many sets. So many Christmases. Ostensibly donated to a school. Oh, so many good times. So many good times. I remember getting the Ninjago stuff before anybody knew what it was. I still have no idea what Ninjago actually is. But I did love those Goku-looking Legos. Ninja Legos. I mean, I know what it is, but I don't know what it is. Like, I never watched the cartoon or whatever came out eventually. They really did just kind of drop it on us, for any of you that were alive at the time and playing with Legos. They didn't say anything. Like, they were just in the aisle. They were just in the Lego aisle all of a sudden. And I think the cartoon wouldn't come on for years. They were just in the aisle. Like, at least Bionicle had the movies, you know? Although, to be fair, you had to find them. And the only place you could ever find them was at the rental store. So I may or may not own Bionicle. Man, I don't even know where my Bionicles are. They're long gone. You have all the movies. I don't remember the names anymore. I definitely remember there was one that was on like a volcano of some sort. And that's the one that I remember very vaguely. I rented it several times. I want to say Mata Nui, but that's Moana. And literally all that I can think of is Moana. Can you guys imagine if in the middle of Moana, like Maui came out from the cave and there was just a Bionicle? It was just a Bionicle chilling outside with their weird little bug head thing. It'd be a very different movie. Inspiring crossover, though. Matanui is not. It is not Bionicle. Metra Nui. There we go. That's the one I've seen. I've seen Metra Nui. I feel like I've seen Mask of Light too, though. I have never heard of Web of Shadows, and I have never heard of Legend Reborn. Legend of the Punctured Foot. Do Rangers always give berries? Is that a thing? I don't know if I ever stepped on a Bionicle. I've definitely stepped on Legos. And I've maybe even stepped on... Matanui is Bionicle, no lie. Moana is Motanui. Well, I guess I am. I'm making an amalgam there. It's worse than a Lego? Wow. Man, I did love the faceplate, though. The Bionicle faceplate was by far the best thing they had to give. Between all the things that Bionicle brought to the table, nothing was cooler than the faceplate. Except for maybe the giant swords and stuff. But that faceplate, it looked so metal. It was dope, especially the ones that interacted. And yes! Absolutely. They gave you the little eraser glowworm that went in the back of the head of the ones with the long Frieza heads. I'm not going to buy Bionicles. Stop. I can already hear everyone whispering, go to a retro store, go try and find a Bionicle. No, stop typing in the chat. I need everyone to stop saying. I just see dozens of messages begging me to do it. I'm not going to do it. Fun fact, the Mirror Mural, the book that I wrote whenever I was 10 years old, most of those characters had a matching Lego counterpart that I would use to act out stories with them. So many of the stories that were written in the Mirror Mural have been performed. Which is hilarious. But yeah, I was very inspired. There goes that the reason why sometimes I'm so much better with pictures is mainly because of Legos. Oh my gosh, and I always wanted my buddies, actually Brady from the story, Brady's that's always crying for some reason in the Mirror Mural. He had a digital blue. Do you guys remember? Did anybody else have a digital blue? Is that even what they were called? I swear they were called a digital blue. Digital blue was a handheld computer camera for kids that you essentially got the digital blue programming on your computer and you could make movies with this little handheld camera. It was made to feel like a film reel in the sense that like you held it like a little gun, a little camera, and you filmed the stuff that you wanted to film, and you would take out, well, actually you wouldn't take out the SD card. The SD card was built in, but you would plug it into a little digital blue base, and that would import your video, and then it had its own little video editing site within the thing. If any of you had a digital blue, it's going to blow my mind, because I was always so jealous of all my friends that, it was literally just Brady. But there was one friend that had the digital blue, and we would make Lego videos together. We would make Lego movies. And I was always so jealous of that he had it. I wanted it so bad. What's up, Weesh? Welcome back. Moana Bionicle crossover thing tickled me so much for some reason. I'm glad it's not just me. Just found it on eBay. Wow, that's so 90s. Ah! Is it called the digital blue? Was I right? It does look real 90s. I'm glad that I remember the name of it. I wanted to call it the Selsun Blue, but that is dandruff shampoo. It is not that one. Which I also think that Selsun Blue is how they beat the aliens in the movie Evolution. Like 99% sure. Head and Shoulders? Was it Head and Shoulders or was it Selsun Blue? It might have been Head and Shoulders. You have that movie? I definitely have it too. I like how we got VIPs. How though? We have so many, Bleach. We have a ton of VIPs. My privileged life. It might have been Head and Shoulders. What's up, Trombone? How was work? Yeah, we got VIPs for a while, but then we got a bunch of VIPs whenever we did our subathon. We unlocked a ton more from having the subs that we did. Which, by the way, I'm super proud of you guys for keeping strong on that, because we've really not dropped too low. I don't think we've dipped down to 25 again. We're at 32 right now. And normally we bump our way back up to close to 50 pretty much each month, which I think is huge, you guys. It was Head and Shoulders. There you go. Man, I loved that movie. With napalm. Lots and lots of napalm. Yep. The Y Checkpoint Church subathon-esque thing. Oh, yeah, it feels like it was forever ago, doesn't it? This month's been wild. This year. The back half of this year has been insane. Did you miss a checkathon? We did one like literally like 2 weeks ago. It was not this past Friday, but the Friday before. It's all good. Oh yes, that's right. Yep. That was when all the jurisdictional stuff went on. What is Frillish? Frillish is a fish. Why checkpoint so Nate can nerd without getting divorced? That's it. Just ask Logan, that's what she'd say. A student bumped into another student and knocked her to the ground. Moments later, two students lunged towards an acorn, which was supposed to stay outside, and one shoved the other to the ground, all within the last 5 minutes of the school day. Always in the last 5 minutes, isn't it? I didn't know Frillish was in this game. I definitely know Frillish. And Jellicent or whatever. By the way, I mentioned jurisdictional conference. You got 111,000? I have no idea. I have no idea how you have so many checkpoints. We did do a bunch of gambas. But you wouldn't just win those by proxy. $99K, gamba to all mine away on purpose. 7.3K. We just need to do a big gamba and just give them all the Kura. And trombone. Kura's like, I'll take your points. So you don't even need them. You're VIP, aren't you? Didn't you win the VIP on the sub wheel? Gamba time? I'll do a gamba. Someone got a bunch from me. Yeah, I don't remember who it was. Oopsie, wrong one. There you go. All right, let's do a gamba. Manage prediction. Okay. Okay. Name the prediction. Does Nerd Pastor Nate have 3 or more Apple devices? Yes or no? 1 minute on the clock. $40 remaining. Get those Gamba points in there, baby. I was still new to Twitch and didn't know what a VIP meant. I really don't know if it means much. Let me raid. Find a raid for us once you finish before I start driving. Age of the Girl is live. Sure. Sure. I'm down. 10 seconds left. Get your channel points in there. Okay. I think the prediction is up, and here is the question I have. I'm going to Google it. Do you consider Apple TV to be an Apple device? The actual unit, the Apple TV, is that a device? If that is a device, then the answer, my friends, is that I do have 3 Apple devices. Wow. And I did sure enough Google it. You guys can see my little Google results there. So yeah. Wow. Somebody just won big. Somebody just won real big. Because I still have my Mac, I have my iPhone 4S, and I have an Apple TV. Holy moly. Yes, I do. Wow. You've all been betrayed. Love it. That's great. That was a good one. That was a good upset there. All right, I'm not winning enough with Boaz here. I'm gonna switch out again. There's really no one better. I guess Ditto, because I'm running into a ton of grass types. Man, you guys just got wrecked, dude. That is so funny. Who was it? Who raked in all those points? Or was it Trombone? Hilarious. Oh, I see now. Oh, yes. Look, I got fog brain right now, all right? I'm barely holding it together as we are. Don't leave, Weesh. Don't leave. Don't leave. Everybody give Weesh's points back. What does that happen? What's happening right there? Why is that happening? Why is that happening right there? I don't like that. I don't like that that's happening right there. That thing that's happening. I'm not a fan. Don't leave, Weesh. Stay. Stay, Weesh, no. Okay, now I'm at the cave. I literally haven't even started the cave yet. Please tell me there's somebody that's going to heal me here. Cobalion. I was the one who put up 15k points. I don't think Weesh lost that many. And if you count my wife's devices, then I definitely have way more than 3. But I personally have 3. You thought you gambled 11k? Yes! Thank you for letting me rest. Do I get groceries on the way home, or do I just go home and say screw it? Saved by Trash Twitch API, yep. Gotta love Win by Scuff, dude. I'm sorry, what's that? I don't care for that at all. I don't care for that one bit. I mean, I love a trip to the grocery store, so I'm always going to be pro-grocery. Like, walking around the grocery store is one of my favorite things to do. In my life. I do not love a trip to the grocery store with all the paper and all the sensory, and it shows a lot of executive functioning and people add sensory overload and chaos, and it takes longer than needed even with the rest. I hate that. Have you ever tried, like, pickup? Nope, what am I doing? I was about to say, I do Walmart pickup. I don't do it because of sensory overload, though. I do it because of the fact that if I go into the store, I'm going to walk out with Oreos. And so in order to keep myself from walking out with Oreos, I don't walk in the store. I either walk out with A, Oreos, B, Pokemon cards, or C, Oreos and Pokemon cards. And so I just don't walk in. Double stuff? No way. No way. You get more in the package if you just do the regular. Orange flavored? No, not double stuff. I actually really like the dark chocolate ones. Those are my favorite. Dark chocolate classic. You're hearing me right. You're hearing me correct. Dark chocolate are good. Except I am visual, and so it takes even longer somehow to like sit at home and go through all the options, try and figure out what I need, and then it does, and then like wonder whether or not it will be available at the store. Even so, somehow that's voiced in a way, and I just don't understand. I think you would find a better experience than you think you would. It does take a long time, but it just takes a long time. It takes a long time regardless. I mean, that's just an experience that takes people a while. But I would be interested to see which one takes you more time, doing the app version or going into the store. Because if the app takes even a little bit less time, then that's a little bit less time. And that much more less stress, hopefully. Thanks for waiting. I have not done a save state so far, and we're going to do that right now. Save. Oh, I don't remember what to do. Okay. Looks like the nest of an electric-type Pokemon called Galvantula. Mini heart attack, right? Yeah, I always get a little nervous, especially because the last time I messed up everything, Bleach was here. Done it twice. Both times were a net experience, but I think I might try it again tonight for pickup tomorrow. I don't know. I never get the thing right on them. Oh, wait. I have to get so many things. Yep, you're my omen. I'm really nervous. Bleach is a bad luck charm. No way. Bleach is a good luck charm, but Bleach was also here for so many things that it was just inevitable. My wife and I do grocery pickup every week. Hasn't really failed us yet. Yep, I agree. We started doing it whenever we had a kiddo and have not turned back since. Literally ever since we had a child, we did pick up the week whenever we got home from the hospital, and that was all she wrote. Don't know why there's a nest here, but if there are folks having problems, the gym leader's the one to fix it. Crocorock, take it out. For smack. That's how webs work. And this here's TM's yours. It's my favorite TM, so you can teach it to all your Pokemon. You got it, T-Bone. I know you'll figure it out. You got it. Ooh, what a cool... Ah! I'm being attacked by Brendans! There are 2 Brendans fighting me right now. Come. What is happening? My lord, in. We brought the one you wanted. Okay. Ah, yes. That was the Shadow Triad just now. They work for the Foot. Shredder is our leader. Getsis enlisted them in Team Plasma. Apparently, they were the ones who prepared the Galvantula nest at the cave entrance. Chargestone Cave. I like this place. Formulas express electricity and its connection to Pokemon. If people did not exist, this would be an ideal place. You've been chosen, you know. Does it surprise you I said that? No. If you don't understand what that means, it's not likely to surprise you. I told Getsis about you and your friends. After I did, he apparently used the Shadow Triad to find out about you. Charon is pursuing the ideal of strength. Poor Bianca has faced the sad truth that not everyone can become stronger. And you are not swayed either way. More of a neutral presence. Which is apparently a good thing. Team Plasma will be waiting for you ahead. Getsis wants to see what kind of Pokemon trainer you really are. Okay. Cool combo. It's good talking to you. Bye. Stop at the halfway point to get groceries. Maybe I'll remember to take out the moldy bagel out of my car that's been in the bag for over a week. But since I've seen the mold on it, it's been in the bag even longer before then. Pharaoh Seed? Does he normally just spin like that? They did my boy dirty in the 3D renders. I had no idea he just spins around like a top. I love him. All right, it is almost 4 o'clock, so we're going to take down this Pharaoh Seed. We're going to give a quick save, and then we're going to call it a day for this stream. Folks, remember, we've got a big week. A lot coming up this week. Tomorrow, we're going to play some Sonic Frontiers from 1 to 4. Wednesday night, we're going to play some kind of game together. I'm thinking maybe Among Us VR, because I'd really like to give it a shot and see how it is. At the very least, if you own it, perfect. If you don't own it, then you can watch me be ridiculous in a VR headset. But I got to figure out how to get all that hooked up first, because I've never actually run that through OBS, and so it'll take some work. Thursday, we're going to play maybe more Sonic, maybe something else. We'll see. Maybe we'll start off that day. We'll just kind of see where things go from there. And then on Friday, we'll have some kind of special stream where I will play some of the new PokeMondays, so that you guys can experience some of that along with us. But with that, folks, we are Checkpoint Church, a church for nerds, geeks, and gamers. I did indeed make it all the way to 4 o'clock by some miracle. Zando, I survived. I did it. I had enough energy to be here, and I appreciate all of you for hanging out with us and for being a part of the stream, for tuning in, engaging, being a part of it. It's been great. I appreciate all of you who have hung out, stuck it out with us. I hope you had a good time. I know I did. And we're going to go find somebody to raid. Stain did not make it. Stain fell asleep halfway. Don't let him fool you. It's not true. He did not make it the whole stream. He did make it all the way to 4, but not awake. I made it awake. Trombone is going to go get groceries. You got this. You got this. We're going to go raid Asia in the kitchen. Asia the girl. Let's see. Folks, we are Checkpoint Church, church for nerds, geeks, and gamers. We are streaming every single day of the week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and every other Friday here on our Twitch channel. We are active 24/7 over on our Discord, !Discord in the chat. If you haven't checked that out before, we got all sorts of fun stuff going on over there. We're going to be doing our the Game Awards bracket challenge coming up very, very soon. I'm going to start participating in that. We got tons of stuff coming out over the next couple weeks. It's an exciting time to be a part of Checkpoint. And most importantly, it's an exciting time because we're always reaching people just like you and letting them know the 3 things that we believe to be true about every single one of you out there. Number 1, that God loves you, like really, really loves you. Number 2, we love you. We want community with you. That's what we're doing here. And number 3, that you, yes, you, no matter who you are, what you believe, where you've been, what your background is, whether you believe in God, don't believe in God, go to church, don't go to church, none of that stuff changes this most important thing, that you matter. You are a person of sacred worth. The world is a better place. Why? Because you are in it. Folks, with that, go spam some You Matters in the chat for our good friend Asia, and I will plan to see you tomorrow. No more not showing up for an entire week. I will be here tomorrow. Lord willing, and the creek don't rise. Okay, until the next time that I see you folks, bye-bye!